And with that, we're off to the races. Thanks, Lennon. Welcome to the Guard Frequency Happy Town Funcast Pod Hour, brought to you by patrons like yourself. Appreciate your ongoing support of all things Guard Frequency. And I hate anybody that's watching the Twitch stream out there. Good to see you. We are about to embark on a little bit of, chaos and insanity, but, a different kind of chaos and insanity. That's, we usually do that every week anyway. But in this particular version of Chaos and Insanity, we're going to bring in everybody that's ever worked on the show, more or less. Some of them will be pre-recorded, some will be live, and have a conversation about how they got on board and why they stuck around. So we'll be commencing that shortly, but first we have a little cold open, something we haven't done in a long time. Mr. Elliott, do you have an Audacity session ready?
I do.
All right, let's hit that big red button in 3, 2. This is Tony, cold open, sync 1.
This is Jeff, cold open, sync 2.
Just Elliott. Just Elliott. Just Elliott, Jeff.
I can't work like this. Okay.
Good, I quit.
Tony, are we restarting? You just want me to sync?
No, I want you to go. And Jeff, I want you to make sure you get that in there so we can put in the blooper reel. Did you start Audacity?
Yes.
Good. Save it and export it.
All right.
This is Elliott, cold open, sync 2.
Right, the actual sync 2. Okay, here we go. Cold open in 3, 2.
500th episode is coming up.
Make it a little more like we're just bumping into each other in the hallway. Water cooler talk.
Mm. Hey, 500th episode is coming up.
Oh, yeah. Hey, remember how that all started back in the days? I think you called either, I can't remember if you called me or if it was a TeamSpeak conversation we had like in May of 2013. Do you remember what that was?
Nostalgia.
Okay. I should have put that in brackets or something. Mm-hmm. Because I don't want you to actually say the word nostalgia. I want you to create some.
I'm sorry, Mr. Sorkin.
I'd like you to create some nostalgia here. That's why it says Tony and Elliott.
Okay.
I didn't.
I thought that's why I put that harp sound effect in. Because I thought this was going to be like the harp sound effect and both of us going, nostalgia.
We are having fun. This is going well. This is a great
I blame the writer's room.
This is intolerable. The people don't understand my artistic. I think, you know what? Who I blame? Francis Ford Coppola, because I just saw the Megalopolis movie. That's a hot mess. My standards for own writing went way down after I saw what you could actually do with $120 million. Okay, so let me try that again.
Okay.
Oh my God, yeah. Remember how this started? Like it was like a TeamSpeak conversation or an actual phone call. Back in May of 2013. Do you remember how that worked? I don't remember what happened.
I do. Yeah. No, I was super excited about this new game, Star Citizen, that was going to be coming out. And Squadron 42.
Squadron 42.
It's,
yes.
Yeah.
Star Citizen was an afterthought.
We already had a great podcast going with Priority 1, and it was like, why not 2? This is a whole topic in and of itself.
Yes. Yeah, we couldn't shoehorn it into the other show. We thought this is a separate show, and
you were so great on Priority 1 that it seemed just natural that and I knew you were a pilot. I knew that you were a starfighter pilot in your soul, and
X-Wing,
this would speak to you.
Yeah, the whole thing back in the days. It spoke to me so much. And plus, Elio just was riding my ass just day in and day out.
Yeah,
couldn't.
Everybody needs a break.
Yeah, just couldn't handle. I had to break off on my own. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's great. And then you basically just like left right after that. Like you had this great idea and handed it over to me, and like you were like, I'm out.
Busy time, lots to do. Left it in your hands.
Well, yeah, I guess that's true. You really did just dump it all on my lap. But we did okay. 10 years later, 500 episodes. Hey, it turned out okay.
Yeah, it's been perfectly meh the entire time.
Oh, thanks.
You know what?
What?
You should invite all the old cast and crew back and have the same chat with everyone.
Oh, like what we just did here? Oh, yeah. That's a good idea. We'll get old hosts and everybody that works behind the scenes, all the audio editors and art and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, and you can help me out too, because like my memory's real fuzzy, like how you got Jeff in and how Lennon crossed over from P1, because I'm kind of fuzzy on all those details, and I don't really jump in anytime that interrupt me.
Busy time.
Let's try that again.
All right.
Jump in and interrupt me so that.
Yeah. Do you want a clean break, or do you want me to cut you off?
I want you to cut me off. Like you're. I'm leaving. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's you know what? That's a fantastic idea. Though that's good. Yeah. Because I'm gonna need your help a little too, because I'm kind of fuzzy on the details. Like I don't remember how you got where you got Jeff from, or how we got Lennon to cross over from Priority 1. And I'm
busy time. Lots to do. Gonna leave it in your hands. See ya.
Yeah, I really should have seen that coming. All right, stop there. All right, export that. Make that title that as numeral 0, and then cold open, and then your name, and then episode 500. All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Tan, for your service, your inspiration, your cooperation with this hastily thrown together hilarious comedy sketch that will be mostly blooper. I think
nostalgia.
Yeah. Nostalgia.
You should see the text. That's what he wrote.
That's what it is. All right, it says Tony and Elliot. Tony and Elliot : nostalgia, which. You know, we can't say nostalgia at the same time. That doesn't work for a script. I thought that would have anyway.
It
didn't translate.
500 episodes, and he expects the same from us all the time.
I expect more. I don't know why.
It hasn't changed.
I don't know why.
He writes something, you say it, and then he yells at you for it.
just read the line. I don't know.
Read the copy.
And he'll make him read it all over and over if it's not exactly how he wants it to.
Although
right. We have been trained to read what's on the damn page.
Although what I really appreciate that about it is that on the blooper reel, most of the time there's they put in like a little short word or phrase right at the end that just is a total non sequitur to the rest of the show or the blooper reel. This show's will be nostalgia right at the end. Yeah, nostalgia right at the end.
Tony, you have to say nostalgia and get that sound effect in there. Make a little 3-second audio clip and throw it in there. Just a little kicker.
Well, no, it'll just be you, and we'll put the harp underneath it. That'll do it. That'll put the bow on.
So Tony, is there any chance I get to say "lave"?
Yeah, there's a good chance.
The entire time.
No, there's a strong chance.
There's a very strong chance.
We have a recording from the Lave Radio guys saying happy 500th. So, okay, so we're good with that, and so let's.
Shiv, get back in your ship.
Yeah. What are you doing there, Shiv?
He was in his ship. Now he's on the planet without a spacesuit. I might add.
Oh, that's unsafe.
It's underwater too, so I'm probably suffocating.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
All right. So
that's a bad plan.
Everybody who is not Elliot need a Audacity recording ready to go.
I'm gonna go and heckle from Twitch. Have fun, everyone.
Okay. Thanks, Elliot. Bye. Okie doke.
I'll just be stuck on the ISS or something.
Yeah, sure. That could be what's happening. Okay. If everybody is ready. Let's hit the big red button in 3, 2. This is Tony, intro, sync 1.
This is Jeff, intro, sync 2.
This is Lennon, intro, sync 3.
This is Shiv, sync 4.
All right, here we go. Intro in 3, 2. Sits and sieves, captains and commanders, pilots of all types and varieties, you've tuned to the guard frequency because as all good pilots know, when you're out in the deep black, you want to keep one ear on the guard. This is episode 500 of the best damn space sim and or game podcast ever. Recorded on Friday, October 4th, 2024, and made available for download on Tuesday, October 8th, 2024, over at guardfrequency.com. I'm Tony.
I'm Jeff.
I'm Lennon.
And I'm I'm the Shiv.
Beep, beep.
And I'm Shiv.
I'm glad you got it under control finally. It took a few seconds, but that was good. Thank you. Thanks for joining us. And if you like what you hear during the show, stick around for the closing to find out how to support us.
What do we got in store this millennium, Tony? It's 500 episodes. I had to come out.
You should have said, what do you got for this nostalgia, Tony? That would've-
There you go.
fit better.
There you go. I'll do that.
No, you won't. Just read. Just this. Now you're gonna read it like it is. This is time tested. This has been field proven.
Nostalgia. I was going to say vagina, but,
Why? Why would you say that?
because it'd be the opposite of Lennon.
This has gone from non-tentacle to more. We've lost Shiv. Shiv is absolutely gone now. Yeah, and Lennon is.
I'm still here.
Yeah, well,
I'm a professional, Tony.
That's
I only
right.
say those things before we go live.
right. Okay, Jeff,
Okay.
go ahead.
What do we got in store this week, Tony?
This week we take a trip down memory lane as we gather all the cast and crew and even a guest or two to celebrate our 500th episode. We'll be bringing in folks more or less in the order that they joined the production over the last 10 years and change, and asking them to try to remember why they did that. Hijinks, japes, and shenanigans may ensue, but I'm not guaranteeing anything. Leading off this stroll down memory lane is a few minutes with longtime friend of the show, Eric Wingman Peterson, and then we'll talk to the best damn space game podcast crew on the internet.
And finally, we get to open up the feedback loop. Wow. Wow. It's
been a while, hasn't it?
Yeah, here we go. And finally, we open up the feedback loop and let you join in on the fun.
Lace up your nostalgia campers. It's time to head out to the flight deck.
Okay, I'll allow that. That makes sense. That makes sense, Jim.
Yep.
Do you see what he did there? How it makes sense? That makes sense. All right, stop there.
See, I did nearly say, finally, we open up the feedback loop and let you join in on the nostalgia.
That could have worked too. I would have let that. I would have
Yeah.
allowed that. I would have allowed that.
But you know what I did, Tony? I read the damn copy.
You read the damn copy. Really appreciate that. Do strongly appreciate that. All right, well, you guys stick around, and we're gonna do the thing. We're gonna do the thing where I ask you about the why are you here? Why are you still doing this? Why did you ever do this? What possessed you? And then once you've told your story, you have the same option. You can stay, you can go, you can do what you like.
But these aren't Audacity recorded, right?
This next step's not going to be Audacity recorded. No, we're just going to work off the OBS recording.
Okie dokie. I'm going to open up a new one anyway for the feedback.
That's fine. Yep. So you'll eventually need one for feedback. All right.
Sorry, I'm just exporting. I haven't done this for a while.
Shiv, you showing off your
Whoever
T-shirt?
died,
It's a
sorry about that.
Yeah.
Polaris. Oh, the Star Citizen shirt. See, the trouble with having the background stuff is that the camera can't quite decide if you're a human or a shirt or a poster or whatever you are. All right. Let me know when you're all good.
All good.
Okie doke. So
Thumbs up because it's an audio podcast.
right, yeah. Okay, so I'm just gonna clap a couple times, Mikey, and this is where it starts. Well, joining me here tonight is the original core crew. Elliot, of course, bailed and left it pretty much in my hands, but he didn't leave me directly alone. The first person he talked to was Jeff. And Jeff, you and Elliot knew each other from not Priority One, which makes you kind of unique. All of Elliot's friends are from Priority One, I think. I don't think he has any
Well,
friends.
that's true and not true at the same time.
Oh, do
I
tell.
was we started this podcast, I was working for P1, just not in the podcast.
You were on the fleet side.
Yes,
That's
I started the original STO Priority One fleet,
Mm-hmm.
which is now
It's its own
Big-
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Winters runs
So-
that. Yeah. Uh-huh.
right. But I was technically an employee of P1, but this was right up my alley.
Yeah. Again, same thing, right? I mean,
Right.
Elliot knew that you were a fighter
Yes.
jockey. Yeah. And
Yep.
yeah, he knew
Yep.
you'd love this. So you came on.
Ellie and I are all old gaming buddies. That's correct.
And so, and were you playing WoW or something like that? Is that what you were doing before?
Well, yeah, we played WoW, but we were playing some other games too, some FPSs and stuff. Elliot and I like to get into the jungle and hunt things. So
the world's most dangerous game, Jeffrey. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, all right. So he called you up. He said, "We're doing this thing. You want to host?" You said, "Great." And then
I've been in space sims for a long time. I was playing Jumpgate, which was one of the original space MMOs back in the day. I own a domain called Online Space Sims. I've owned it since the early 90s. And in fact, I just renewed it last month. So,
all right. Well, so
and then
you came in and you'd never been on a podcast before. You'd
That's
never
true.
done any audio before. This is all brand new to you. Do you have any recollections or impressions of like the first recording session we did? Do you remember any of that?
I had so much fun. When you get a group of guys together and things just start clicking and it becomes a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Though I knew the slave driver was going to continue to be a slave driver for a very long time, which
I learned it from the best. I
I know.
Elliot and Leo. I mean, they're sticklers. Yeah. So yeah. So.
But intelligent people are always a pleasure to hang around. I don't. I tend to lose interest when there's not intelligence behind anything. So.
And disagreement too, right? I mean, it's not fun when everybody thinks the same thing, right? Like you.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And I think that's the beauty of our podcast, because we don't all stand on one side or the other. We're kind of in the middle, and we have different ideas and different opinions. And I think that's what makes a great podcast, because they're not all yes men.
Yeah. Speaking of different people from having different opinions, Lennon was the other choice for first co-host. I've always had kind of a rule of three. We had that at Priority 1. You really can't have a show with just two people. You have to have a third person to break the tie or to stir the pot or whatever. So my choice for the third was Mr. Lennon Rich, who was also a Priority 1 alum.
I was the audio editor over at Priority 1, and then I was in a fleet in Star Trek Online as well with a guy known as Skiffy. And one day I was just mildly complaining about this guy called Tony, whose audio I had to edit on Priority 1 to Skiffy. And then he's like, "Oh, wait, you're the editor for Priority 1? And I was like, "Yeah, that's what I do." And he's like, "Oh, well, if you ever need a hand, let me know. I've won a couple of Emmys," or something like that.
Yes.
And
regional Emmys, as I remind you from time to time. Regional Emmys.
Yeah, sure. So then I got him involved in Priority 1, and that kind of freed me up a lot. And one day we were talking on TeamSpeak, because that's how we did back in the day. Mm-hmm. But that was before Google Hangouts, so
yes, we've evolved many times. Many times we've evolved
over the years.
Yes.
And I sent you a message, and I was like, "Hey, so I know that you're kind of interested in space games. Have you heard about this thing called Squadron 42?" And I just got a wall of text, but audio based.
Yeah.
And it effectively went, "And I'm going to do this podcast." And I was like, "No, I want in on that. I'm definitely interested." So then I got poached and came over. Yeah. And
starting a grand tradition of poaching, which we'll get to.
Yep, I'm sure we will.
We'll get to that.
Yeah. And then I sort of came over and I started with writing up all the segments, editing all the segments. Being a clock Nazi, I believe, was my title at the time.
Back when being a clock Nazi was a term of endearment.
When it
fun.
meant something.
Yes. It was fun. It was fun to be a clock Nazi, because Nazis weren't real back then.
Right.
They were a historical figment of times gone past.
See also Hitler.
Right,
and
that used to be funny too. When you guys
it did, but
not anymore.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on from that, yeah, so that's sort of how I became involved, and I stuck around for a long time until real life sort of forced me out.
Yeah, real life, and then other things happened as well, which we'll get to here in a moment. But speaking of poaching
Sure.
people from Priority One, hi Shiv.
Hey.
Yeah.
So your involvement with Priority One, predates your involvement here. You recorded some Foundry reviews.
Yep, did that.
And sent those to P1. So we knew you knew your way around podcastery things and audios and community stuff. And then you started writing into the show at Guard Frequency, right?
Yep. Well, yeah, I did also audio editing for Priority One.
Mhm.
Somebody's chair still gives me nightmares.
It wasn't
yeah,
you. It wasn't you, Jeff. It was somebody else.
Yeah, somebody else's.
Oh, but I had the notorious chair too.
Yeah,
for-
you
did.
here on this show, but Shiv experienced
Yeah.
it on the other show. Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so I met Lennon first. I'm pretty sure when he was showing me how to edit audio. I don't think I knew him in game before that, but maybe I did. Then on TeamSpeak at some point, Jeff was talking about some game, and I was like, okay, I wasn't listening or something. And then I heard about the podcast. I was like, yeah, what's this? And then I listened to it. Then I found every way you could write into the show or call into the show or record it. I don't know why I did that, but I did. And tried to spell squawk. How do you spell squawk? So I haven't figured out how to spell squawk.
Yeah, you know what? That's a
And-
good point. I wish somebody had brought up to me the fact that squawk and frequency are hard words to spell. But maybe that's good because then nobody can write us emails. Maybe now looking back, maybe it was a good smart move.
So I started as community manager, wrangling emails, and
You came on pretty quick. Like I think we had you hired on in the teens. I think somewhere in the low teens episodes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
if
So
not single digits.
yeah. It was not long before we decided. Well, I think mostly Lennon decided because we had Lennon doing most of the actual work on the show, and he's like, "I'm not doing the community too. No way. Forget this." He said, "No, I'm not gonna. I'm not on the hook for that too." So all right. So
Yeah, and then I can remember we were saying, well, like we were thinking like, who else can we bring on? Who can we poach from Priority One? And then we were like, well, Shiv wrote in on Facebook and Twitter and the website and Hangouts and TeamSpeak. So he clearly knows how to use technology.
yeah,
and-
and he's monitoring all of those channels already. So we just have him do it for us as well. So yeah, it worked out beautifully. It was a marriage of convenience, but it's worked out well. So well done. Speaking of people, who else can we poach from Priority One? Our next victim / volunteer was, I think, in the order of operations, Skiffy, who we just mentioned a second ago. But he can't be with us tonight. He's got real world obligations. And so here is where I'll ask Mikey, the audio editor, to insert the recording with Skiffy now. We'll give that a- Nostalgia. Yeah, the Mikey, this is where you put the harp in. The thing. You know what I'm talking about. Okay. So we'll let the Skiffy recording play. And then I will bring in Mr. Jace. Hello, Jace.
Hello.
Howdy do. All right, so we're up to the point where Skiffy joined Guard Frequency because we were going to the next great starship in LA, and he at the time lived in LA. So we are up to that point, and I think you mentioned, and I think that's correct, that you first guest hosted while we were out or doing something for the next great starship.
That is correct. You were reporting in person from there.
All right. So what we're gonna do is, we're gonna drop in Skiffy's pre-recorded thing because he can't be here tonight, and so I'll pick it up with you, and Mikey will just edit this part out, and I'll clap a couple times to do it, and here we go. Well, now that we've got Skiffy on board, what happens next in the story of the show is that the next great starship was a contest run by CIG to pick the next great starship among a field of candidates that users created themselves. And so I traveled to Los Angeles, California, and Mr. Chivalry Bean also traveled to Los Angeles, California. And
With
we'll
donuts.
tell the donut story here in a second. At that time, I needed a little help covering the recording booth, and I asked another Priority One colleague, Mr. Jace Pentad, to come in and help out. How you doing, Jace?
So far, so good, but the night is young.
Well, we have time to ruin that. Just give us a few minutes. It'll be awful.
Perfection.
We'll dredge up terrible memories of some sort, I'm sure. So tell you're another Priority One alum. So set your way back clock to about 2014 and tell us what was going on then and how you came on the show.
Yeah, I was hosting on P1 at the time. I think I was the only person left on P1 that was a backer of Star Citizen at the time.
We'd already cleaned out the fridge.
Cleaned house.
Everybody who was there, we had already stolen. Okay, good.
And I think I had at least taken my first baby steps in Elite by that time, along with the guard frequency group on there.
Elite, you might have backed it. It didn't. The game didn't come out until December of that year, but I bet you backed it. I bet you backed it before.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I hadn't started actually playing yet.
Yeah, it wasn't out yet. But yeah, you probably backed it.
Mm-hmm. So I got tagged in. And that was episode 26, halfway through the first year.
26. That's right. That is a fateful episode because that's the episode where I asked Chris Roberts live in LA, "Hey, have you learned your lesson about, not doing the whole perfection thing, letting the baby go, getting the thing out there?" And he said, "Yeah. Totally into that now. People tell me no, and people tell me that I can't do stuff. Boy, I've learned so much."
Thank God.
Yeah. It was fateful. Remember those bad memories I said we drag up? I think I found one. I found one.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, and after that appearance, you did another stint later on as well.
Yeah, I did several more on and off, usually when Lennon ate or drank something inappropriate, from what I recall, at least according to the show notes. And I think episode 107 was the last time I actually appeared on the show.
I think you were on maybe a little bit after that too, because there was a.
Was there one?
Well, I think you did a brief run when I ran for office also.
That's right. That's right.
So you helped out when I stepped away for a little bit to do my state senate campaign for a few months. So that was helpful too. So Jace, I want to thank you especially for being the backup guy for when I wasn't there. You were that steady rock that was needed. That voice of experience and wisdom that was required when I was away.
Yeah, and clearly that went great because then you never had me back on after that. I've been waiting this whole time, literally just sitting at my desk until now.
Waiting for this call, waiting for your ship to come back in.
Then the red light went on my desk. I slid down the pole, changed costume, and here I am.
Well, it is delightful to hear your voice again, and you're welcome back anytime. I'll put you back on the rotation if you really want to, because Brian is he's not here to defend himself yet, but his attendance is it's abysmal. It's abysmal, Jace.
Almost as good as mine.
We're on the Lennon level here with it.
Frightful.
He's got real world obligations. He's taking some trip to England to go to some con or something where he's going to dress up and play, whatever. So, I mean, this guy just clearly didn't take it seriously.
I'm sorry. You guys have a long way to go to reach my perfection.
We can't, Jeff. That's the thing. No one can ever catch up with you because you think you've missed 2 episodes the entire run. The entire run you've missed 2. So that no one can touch you, Jeff. Your record is safe.
That's frightening in a different way.
Yeah. Well, he's been around a while. He is frightening in a lot of ways. That's for sure. All right. Well, so Jason, it is really great to hear from you again. I'm glad you were able to come on, and we should stay in touch. Stay in the channel. Hop on the Discord. Come play other games with us. It's good to see you.
Yeah. Well, I haven't played many space games in a little while, so I'm eager to sort of dip my toe back in.
Elite's got a big patch coming up, so if you still have your Elite installed, we're all looking forward to checking out that new stuff at the end of the month, the end of October.
Nice.
So, all right. Well, hey, feel free to stick around. We're gonna move on to the next victim/volunteer. I'm not sure about this one, but I think the next person in the chronology is Ben Sanders, otherwise known as First Verse Problems, who finally responded to Lennon's desperate plea for an artist when he created this really adorable but really crap thing in MS Paint that said, "What? Oh,
I will
oh,
have you. I'm just going to step in here and
yeah,
say
yeah."
it was an intentional marketing campaign that worked brilliantly. It was one of those where I was just like, how can I get someone on board? If I do this really crap, someone's going to be, I can do that better. And
You set the bar low.
nailed it.
You set the bar
Yeah.
low, and then and you got what you needed. Well, it worked perfectly.
It's like the artistic version of if you want an answer to a question, post the wrong answer on the internet, and someone will correct you like that.
That excellent. That yes, very
Yeah.
nicely done. That's a complete social engineering job. Well, it did work great because Ben's been our artist ever since, and continually baffling us with all the show art. Shiv stepped in. So I think the low bar set by Lennon and the precedent set by Shiv of what Ben had to clear. I think the two of those things combined gave us our excellent weekly show art by First Problems, who can't be with us here tonight because of family obligations, but conveniently I have a recording that we will play now.
Please tell me that's going to be an insert of episode 100.
No, but we should mention that. Thank you for saying we'll talk about episode 100 right after this.
No worries.
Yeah.
Also, just before we move on, because this bit's going to get cut,
Yeah.
the claps, your mic is auto-muting them, so they haven't been coming over Discord.
Well, big silence will be fine. And it hopefully will show up on the OBS.
On OBS.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll let that play. And I'll clap us back in and see who's on deck. I think Mikey's
Clap
on
on.
deck.
Clap off.
Mikey's on deck. All right, here we go. All right, thanks to Ben Sanders for recording that with me. And I do need to, before we leave the subject of Mr. Sanders and you, Mr. Lowmaster, we can't leave that acquisition, that talent acquisition, without touching on real briefly another past milestone of the show, episode 100.
Best episode.
For those people who might have forgotten, or I would say blocked it from their memory, might be a more accurate description. What the hell was that, Justin? What the hell was that?
I think that was just. I have no idea. It seemed like a good idea at the time.
That mostly describes every episode of our show, I think. It seemed like a good idea at the time.
Ben and I just had a bunch of ideas, and we didn't wait to see what stuck. We just
Threw them all
threw it
at
at
the wall.
and recorded the wall.
I will say one of my favorite parts of episode 100 though is that thing that I used to do where I would take things that Tony said and take them out of context and rework them. They did that with Jeff. He was describing a HOTAS, but Ben was like, "So Jeff, what do you look for in a woman?" And Jeff's like, "A real hefty piece,
Hefty bass.
something
Yeah. I want to
nice,
spring
round,
back and forth.
chunky bass, and." An LCD screen on it. It's really good if you can get an LCD screen in there.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
It was a hot mess, and
It was glorious.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna pull it down because they worked hard on it, and but it was just like, wow, I can't trust those two to work unsupervised ever again.
No, I really think that episode 100 really set us apart from every other podcast out there.
I remember someone wrote in like,
yeah.
"What is this show about?" I'm like, "Try any
We'll
other.
figure it out.
Just any other episode."
Literally any other episode, you'll see what the show's about. This one was a regrettable one-off. We're sorry. We apologize.
I will say though, when you let them work on, I believe it was episode 400. Was that the improv show?
Oh, that
Or
was
that 300.
We'll get to that. No, that was
Okay.
300. That was 300. And that was Ben. Yeah. Well, Ben's not here, and I'll see. Set the Wayback Machine for people afterwards. I'm recording with Ben tomorrow, so maybe I'll bring that up with him. But in case we don't get enough of it, my recollection of it is it was Ben's idea because he saw this or he heard this audio podcast where people did that, and he thought we can do that. And so yeah, I went back and I was trying to figure out when people joined. So I was going and searching our Discord chats and my emails and stuff, and I found the staff chat thread where we were talking about 300 when after 300 came out, and it just went on and on about people laughing their head off. Like, this is my favorite part. No, this is the best part. No, 300 was probably one of our high points. Like, that was the most fun and the hardest work to record, but I think it turned out brilliantly. 300
And it made up. And 200 episodes later, it kind of brought the balance back, is what I was
yeah,
saying.
we're on that curve, right? Yeah, we're on that
Yep.
the other side of the, this is we're meh. We're clearly at the meh level. Meh plus was 300 plus probably. We can't let people think we're going to do that all the time. Brilliant piece of genius work by Ben to come up with that idea, and then everybody else just pitched in and executed. We spent hours on that. It was a lot of fun and a lot of work to do. Speaking of hours and hours of work, gonna bring Mikey in now. Speaking of hours and hours of work, I'm bringing Mikey in now. Hello, Mikey.
Hello.
This is our chief audio architect, Mikey, who's been with the show almost as long as everybody else. And I was kind of surprised to see you this far down on the list, just because I've come to count on you every week, and I'm like, it's hard for me to remember a time before Mikey on the show.
I'm opening up my audio folder. 37 was the first episode I was on.
37. Yep. Oh, that's you're a veteran. You're a veteran, sir. But yeah, so ever since then, you've sort of I'm going to let you tell this story. How did you become the chief audio architect over here at the show?
Well, see, when a mommy audio architect and a daddy audio architect really love each other.
And I'm waiting for you to put names on those titles here in a second. Go ahead.
I knew Lennon through playing Lord of the Rings online for a few years, and he, if I'm remembering the story correctly, he said something to my wife about you guys needing an audio editor, and she said, Mikey can do it, and Lennon messaged me and said, hey, you want to do this?
Your wife says you want to.
Basically, yeah, which means I did.
Oh, sure, right, yeah, I know Jamie, and yeah, that's probably how that went.
Yeah, and Lennon sent me a couple of files to test and edit, and it was fun. And at the time, Star Citizen sounded like something that was really cool and I could be into, and so stuck with it.
We all thought that for sure back at episode 37. We definitely all thought that for real. So you came in and ever since then, and you've trained a stable of audio editors after that.
A few on this show and another podcast as well.
Actually, this is a good time to talk about that. That other podcast you speak of, Mikey. What is that? What is that podcast?
Well, that was Heroes Rise.
Heroes Rise, yeah.
Yeah, Heroes Rise. We shut down about a year ago, a little over a year ago. And Wizards kind of just stopped with the news, and there were some PR debacles, and not with us, with Wizards of the Coast.
Allegedly.
So you could say it was called Heroes Attempted Rise.
Oh no, they rose for quite a while. They were up.
We rose, but then we fell again. That was the problem.
Well, that's that same curve that we're following here, Jeff. Episode 100, then to 300, now to 500. It's that roller coaster, that sine wave. It happens. It happens to everybody. Somebody coming up soon will be Ostron, and then I'd like for you, the three of you, to get together and tell the whole story of the great cleaving. We were cleft in twain at some point to follow the grand tradition of stealing and poaching other people's people. for podcast hosting and production. So
Oh, that's right. They're poachers.
well, we did it too, Jeff. We just went through the whole story of how we stole everybody from P1. So I mean, fair is fair. All is fair in love and war.
And you then stole one of my co-hosts for your RPG.
That's more of a lending situation. It's just one small segment, one tiny little segment. It's fine. It's fine. Don't get ahead of yourself. Don't get ahead of ourselves here. All right. So now that we understand how Mikey came in, now we enter a bit of a rocky period here at the Guard Frequency Happy Time Funcast Pod Hour. Got the crew pretty much in place. This core team that we came to count on for the first couple hundred episodes of the show, and then the community was rocked by controversy in the personage of one other veteran game industry character known as Derek Smart. He started to kind of pee in our Cheerios a little bit on the whole feasibility of whether Star Citizen was ever going to be a real boy at any point. So Mikey coming out at episode 37 thinking, hey, Star Citizen could be fun one day. Could be a great thing. And then right around, I don't know the exact episode, but it was in the low hundreds, possibly a little before 100. Derek Smart in 2015 started lobbing some grenades out. And as Jeff mentioned earlier, I like to consider ourselves a place where reasonable people can debate civilly on issues of strong emotional content and remain respectful of each other and each other's opinions. And so on episode 121, Derek Smart came on our show. And he has graciously agreed to have another little interview with us here tonight. So take it away. And Mikey, this is where you put in nostalgia. You put in the little, harps and stuff here. I'm going to record tomorrow with Derek. He was sick the last couple of days, and so his voice is crap. He thinks he'll probably be better tomorrow. He'll be on the upswing tomorrow morning. So Skiffy and First Verse and Derek Smart. My dance card is full tomorrow morning. So we'll do that and have him do his few minutes there. And now we will. Oh, good night, Jace. Jace dropped off. I don't know if he went AFK or pulled off. So, all right. Now that we'll let that go, and then we'll come back in. And I'm going to drag Ostron up here.
So I can't call him a rat bastard.
No, you cannot. I forbid it.
Damn it. Okay.
Hey, Ostron. The bad, scary man just got you.
Yes. All right. No, we pulled it off because we were discussing in the green room about what it would be like if somebody got pulled in the middle of telling a story.
And you did.
I had just started to tell a story because someone down there is watching the Twitch stream and they told me that I was imminent. So you did yank me out in the middle of it.
Good. I'm glad that I provided a vehicle in which you could be right. You're welcome. You're very welcome. All right, so we're coming out of the Derek Smart interview and dropping you in here, yeah. All right, and so let me do the clap. All right, and so after that, we entered into a bit of a tumultuous phase here at the show with episode 121. Right about that time, Lennon started to have some things going on in his life and needed to step back from being involved day to day, week to week in the show. And we stirred up just a hornet's nest of hate and antipathy and outrage, not only amongst our audience, but also a little bit amongst the staff. They were not happy with me, not all of them.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, Mr. Lowmaster, who might still be a little upset with me. Actually, this is a good time to mention this. This is my revenge for that donut, Shiv. Tell the donut story from episode 26. Tell the donut.
Right,
tell the donut story.
On the way to Next Great Starship, I stopped at Voodoo Donuts because at the time I think they were only here. Now they're
In
like
Portland,
everywhere.
yeah.
Because of that, I bring some donuts, and I had nothing to do with which donut you picked. It's not my fault. You thought it was cinnamon when it was actually like chili pepper.
It looked like a freaking cinnamon donut, Shiv. Who makes chili pepper donuts? Nobody does. Nobody
I mean,
makes chili. No.
It was right next to the Captain Crunch donut.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
every other, they were all weird. So, what do you
Yeah,
think? There would be a normal one in there?
Yeah, no, it's like, here's the normal one amongst the weird ones. That's what any normal person would think. No. Chili powder. I'm traumatized still to this day. And so
You have to understand Voodoo Donuts.
I didn't at the time, clearly.
Well, you should have known them.
Why? It was a Portland original. I didn't live in Portland. Shiv was going, this is this cool donut shop that everyone likes. I'm like, that's so thoughtful. Thank you so much, Shiv. Chomp. Pain.
Have you ever seen the show Portlandia?
That wasn't a thing in 2014, Jeff.
Tony, I live in Texas and I know what Voodoo Donuts are.
Did you know in 2014 what they were, Mikey?
I can't say that for sure.
It's been a long time. That's been 10 years. So yeah, now everybody knows Voodoo Donuts. And they're
Now there's the Voodoo Donuts in Texas.
Yes.
Which I heard was pretty funny because people would be like, in Portland, like, I got Voodoo Donuts, they're special. Then they get off the plane and like, why is there one at the airport in a different state?
Yeah. They're not. Portland's not cool anymore. Sorry, Shiv.
Just to tack onto the end of that, though, I was living in England at the time, and I knew what Voodoo Donuts were.
Shut up.
In 2014. Well, only because Shiv said, so I got these donuts, and one of them's got chili in it. And
Yeah. Post terrible thing. So I invited on Derek Smart basically to get revenge on Shiv. So there's that. That's how that worked out. And into that hot mess with Lennon kind of pulling back and getting our backlash from the Derek Smart interview, in walks Ostron. So Ostron, how did you get involved? How did you get hauled into this?
So, in what will, I'm sure, come as a galloping shock to absolutely no one, I did some research on my history with the show.
Yes.
So
you got receipts. Excellent.
Delving into the archives, I can't verify because the website doesn't seem to have records of feedback of publicly available prior to episode 37.
We have changed websites a couple of times.
Yeah. I did find a comment of mine on episode 37 that, based on the form of my writing and the tone, suggests that I had been commenting at least semi-regularly by that point.
I believe that is correct, yes.
And I can remember, I still remember vividly the first time I had sent in a somewhat lengthy comment in response to a community question.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tony, not realizing what he was about to bring forth, read my feedback, and I had posed some sort of a question or a thought. And you said, you should elaborate on that when you write in again. Which meant the next episode, I sent in probably a good 6,000 words, responding not only to the community questions from that episode, but following up on the point you told me to elaborate. And I remember you, because they gave it to you to read as well.
Because it's a long one. No one else wanted to read the big feedbacks. No one else wanted to do it. Yeah.
You got about halfway through, and I remember your exact tone of voice, because I had said, because Tony specifically requested me to, I will return to this point from the previous episode. And Lennon and Jeff were giving you just a rash of crap about encouraging me to do this.
Yeah.
So after that, I continued doing feedback.
Mm-hmm.
My first time on air was episode 91, which was the first call-in episode that Guard Frequency ever did.
Right, the call-ins. Yes, we used to do those. I remember that.
Yeah, and I called in and talked for 45 minutes with all of you folks.
Yes, you did.
And then I think that was exactly when Mikey started to hate me.
Mikey, is that true? Did you start to hate him then, or did you hate him before then? Well, that's probably diplomatically wise. Nice choice.
So I remember after that episode had wrapped and published and everything, I got a direct message from Lennon on, I think, Skype at the time.
Mhm.
And he said, "Hey, could you jump on Skype for a call in the next week or so?" And I was like, "Okay, cool. This seems, yeah, that's sure." He gets on and he opens with, "I'm leaving the show. Would you like to host?"
I just got straight to the point. It's the
That's-
first
yeah.
time in my life I've ever done that. I will never do it again. Look what we got into.
Well, no, I mean, there had been 10 minutes of proper British back and forth and,
Of course.
politeness. But yeah, that was just the opening. Like, no lead up, just, "I'm stepping back. Would you like to guest host?" And I have been curious about this forever, and you can feel free to be as truthful or just blow smoke up my ass if you'd like. I cannot fathom how you all decided I was the best option after one call-in show.
So the call-in show was actually a bit of we had a hidden
Smokescreen?
agenda. No,
Yeah.
kind of. The point of the call-in show was I'd already discussed with Tony that I was going to have to step back, and we were looking for a host. So we figured the best way to do it was to have another call-in show, because anybody who'd be willing to call in and discuss their points on air, and we could see if there was chemistry there, etc., etc. And so when you came on and you just sort of dropped right in, as soon as the show was over, I went to Tony, "So what about Ostron?" And Tony went, yeah, no, just go ask him now. So I was like, "Okay, sure." And that's when I sent you the message being like, "Any chance we can have a Skype call?" And yeah.
Yes.
So
Okay.
that's how we grabbed you. Was you were pre-screened.
Yeah, and you weren't the only good candidate either, because I went back and I was doing my
Yes.
research too. I listened to Amontillado. Amontillado
Yeah.
was called in as well, and so he was. We have an excellent audience, and I'm not just saying that because we're talking to the patrons now, and because all the people are going to listen to the show on Tuesday. We have a very smart audience and a very articulate audience, and I think we're unique about that. I honestly do. So finding Ostron like this worked quite well. Maybe a little too well. Because now is the time when we discuss the great cleaving, the embreakerage.
Right. So
that happened.
just keeping with the chronological order.
Mhm.
So the call-in episode was episode 91.
Right.
By episode 93, I was the replacement host.
Mhm.
Lennon had walked off.
Yep.
Based on my best research,
Well,
I
yeah.
stayed.
We had, so I don't remember that we had to name the show Our Own Private Brexit, which I think might not have happened.
Personal.
Our own personal Brexit. Yeah, our own personal
Yeah.
Brexit. Yeah. But no, we got you in. Yeah, we would, once we had
Yeah.
our hooks in you, we weren't letting you get away. Yeah, for sure.
So I started out as a host, and then Lennon was still writing for the show.
Mhm.
And then after I started, more and more, he needed to pull back for various reasons.
And you took on.
I
that
started
production role.
taking over a lot of the production writing.
Mhm.
I think between, like, in the hundreds,
Mhm.
a lot of the skits and shorts that were written by me.
Yeah. So, and an important point here, Chivalry Bean, is that Ostron would write the sketches, and then I would edit them, and then we would perform them. So it's a very normal thing for someone to take a first draft and edit it, and then go. So that's normal. Shiv. Okay, just to let you know. All right. Okay. All right.
Yeah, that-
Did you
you're
edit
absolutely
out
right.
all? Did you edit out all the best parts of his things?
No,
So
I did not.
So it made no sense afterwards.
No, the thing was that Ostron stuff usually made sense. I just punched it up a little bit. So yeah, no, that's how that usually goes. What were you saying, Jeff? What were you saying, Jeff?
I'm saying it's pretty standard in the industry, and for somebody to write something and then get it edited for time and content,
Yeah, pretty normal. Pretty normal.
pretty normal. And I got to say this, Ostron, my whole favorite parts of doing the show are the skits and the bits.
Yeah,
I really love doing them.
yeah.
And-
That 20 to 130, 150 zone, we had a lot of sketches, and
Yeah.
Ostron wrote a lot of them. So yeah.
And they were a lot of fun to edit.
Yeah. Which go continue with your chronology because that also leads into the Great Breakening. Keep going.
Right. So, at one point or another, there was a lot of shifting around of the staff in the 100s.
Yep.
Tony decided that he was going to try to actually take over the world, and so he stepped away for a little while.
Baby steps.
Yeah.
Didn't work out.
And we cycled through a bunch of other people filling the other slot between Jeff and myself.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's when Kin Shadow got dragged in.
Mm-hmm.
He will.
He'll be here
he
shortly.
will probably tell that story.
Yep.
Then
Henry
came in,
mm-hmm.
and I started to get a little burned out because I was sort of taking on almost all of the writing at that point,
mm-hmm.
and doing a lot of the organization and hosting.
Yes,
and like I can remember there was one time we tried to do a call-in show when I was more or less in charge. It was the one and only time that Jeff had an unscheduled absence from the show.
There was.
Up to that point.
Told you, Jeff.
And it was not his fault,
Nope.
but it was still an absence.
Yep.
And that show, if someone had actually been keeping track, I think that call-in show might be the worst episode of Guard Frequency that's been recorded.
100.
However bad you think that is, Ostron, it's 100. 100 is always worse. Yeah, don't worry about it. You're fine. You're fine.
But, it's definitely at the low bar. But anyway, I started to get burned out. And then Lennon came to me, and this is another wonderful conversation between the two of us, where he sent me a message and said, "So, are you at all interested in Dungeons and Dragons?" Whereupon I sent him my customized rewrite of the 5th edition rules I had done independently to modify them to work for the Star Wars universe. And I said, I dabble.
A little bit. So this was this 2016 or 2015? Do you remember? Probably 2015.
This would have been. Hang on.
No. It's after I ran for office, so it would have been late 2016, early 2017.
No, it was. No, it was 2015.
It was 2015.
November of 2017 is the first episode I have.
Yeah, of Heroes
for
Rise.
Heroes Rise. Okay. Well, you started.
Right,
So
but it took
you a while. Pre-production takes a long time. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was in 2015 because my last episode on Guard Frequency as a host was 92. Or no, not 92. No. Sorry, 192.
192. Yeah, 192.
And that's when there was a general shift in the focus and the tone of the show for a variety of different reasons, which Tony can probably go over. But at that point, that's when relationships got a little strained. There were, veiled accusations of talent theft and violation of non-compete clauses, and
lawyers got involved.
Lawyers got involved.
Hey, just a second. The lawyer was always involved, and I haven't ever made you guys sign anything.
Hang on.
No,
was there a lawyer involved in the discussions?
Me. The whole time.
Yes,
I was always there.
Lawyers got involved.
Lawyer, singular, Ostron, singular. NDAs, my God.
No, I never said non-disclosure. It was
non-competes. Good.
Non-compete clauses.
Please. All right. Yeah. So you guys all packed up and left. You guys.
So I just want to clarify a point on that. We didn't compete because we were talking about fantasy RPGs and you were talking about space RPGs.
Yeah.
I poached. I didn't have a non-poach clause.
No non-poach
so
clauses.
Also,
and again,
hey, Lennon, Tony's still bitter.
I'm not bitter because I did the same thing to P1. So turnabout is absolutely fair play. It was one of those. I should have seen this coming. I really should have seen that coming.
we didn't steal Mikey from you.
Thank
we just
God.
doubled his workload.
You just doubled his workload. That's right. And and
Thank
Mikey,
you for that, by the way.
Yeah, I was gonna say if he hadn't hated me before, then it really set in.
So at that point, the Ostron had left, and Lennon had already kind of been gone a little bit. You know, he'd stepped
Yeah.
back, and Mikey's workload doubled, and so that became the core group of Heroes Rise, and they went off and had their adventure. We'll come back to that in just a second. Because there's more to that story, but I'm going to bring in the next victim / volunteer, who came along just about that time. And now we're going to be joined by Brian Kinshadow Murray, who came in after this great tumultuous time when I had run for office and a kind of a rotating selection of guest hosts had come in and come through. And I was back from running from office, and Lennon stole Ostron and half of Mikey to go do another podcast someplace else. And into that hot mess and mix, I drop Kinshadow in. Hello, Brian. The camera's going.
Howdy, howdy.
Hello, Brian.
Camera is now on.
Camera is on, and you came in at sort of a refactoring. We kind of refactored Guard Frequency. So it was still Jeff and it was still me. Ostron.
As one does.
As one refactors from time to time. That's what we do here. And what everybody does. So Ostron had just left. Lennon had taken him away. He'd taken half of Mikey. And then you come into the mix. So how did you get involved in this whole hot mess?
Okay, so if I remember correctly, so there was I had been sending in feedback for a while.
Yeah.
And I guess
It's a
I was
pattern.
known
It's
when
a
they
pattern.
knew. Am I?
No, we're saying it's a
Yeah,
pattern.
well,
Sending
yeah.
in feedback.
They're
I
just
think
they're
that's
just
where
rudely
everybody
talking
kind
over
of
you. We can
starts.
still hear you.
So yeah, sir, I sent feedback in for a while. Got some notes from Tony asking to do Descendant Universe reporting, right?
Right.
And so I was sending in Descendant Universe, Descendant Underground,
Yeah.
not Universe, Descendant Underground
Yeah, for Wingman. Yeah.
feedback reporting with Wingman. And so yeah, I sent you guys like, I don't know, half a dozen reports or something like that over several weeks before you guys asked me to hop on the show and start doing a segment with you. And you know, we just clicked and fell in love.
It's true.
As one does.
It's true. And yeah, we're repeating the Ostron. Yeah, this is Ostron's.
Oh, just a point of order. He did come in before I left because I do remember working with him on several occasions.
Yes.
And again, one particular instance that's stuck in my mind is a blooper when Kinshadow was thanking who does the music? Sorry. It's been so
Ronald
long.
Jenkins. Ronald Jenkins.
He was thanking Ronald Jenkins for putting his show in our music.
Yes.
And it was also about his
And
fifth
we got
take
the case
trying
of
to
the
get through
giggles.
Yeah. That was like the fifth take trying to get through the closeout.
Yes,
So-
I remember that episode too. It is, for some reason, that stuck out really. That was like the funniest thing ever. For some
Oh
reason.
yeah, we were
on
completely
a number
punch
of
drunk by
episodes
then.
together.
What's that, Brian?
Well, it was pretty late.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking back to the numbers, and I don't know specifically which one my first one was, but it was probably right after 100.
Well,
somewhere
I
around
think
that
we're-
bullet.
And I know, and I see quite a few. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I think you're in
Go
the
ahead.
late 100s. I do remember there's one particular show art that I really love. It's
No.
you were before that. Oh, for the Descent stuff. Yeah, you were on the show
So
for the
I
Descent
was-
stuff. Yeah.
No. I've been looking at it. So I started sending Descent stuff in November of 2015.
Oh wow.
And I started, I think, coming on the show somewhere in 2015. And I'm looking at it, and I can't find the exact episode I came on, but I can see Ostron and I together in the show notes together back in the 130s.
Okay.
you know,
Yeah.
so
No, I
it
think
was
that's
sometime
about right.
before then.
Yeah. My favorite show art from that period is a Ben photoshopped. The baseline picture is two people in some sort of weird ass canoe contraption, and they're both wearing life jackets, and the canoe looks like it's gonna capsize, and it's got Oscar in the back just grinning, and you in the front just grinning, holding these paddles and life jackets. I don't I can't remember the show titled name, but it's just an excellent representation of how I feel like the show was moving at that time.
Favorite show art ever.
Yeah, the ship's gonna sink, the canoe's gonna sink, but you guys are having just a great time. You're just having a ball, as you're paddling this canoe. So yeah, I felt it encapsulated that whole era for us. So you came on, and like I said, there's in that flux time with all the hosting, and I specifically brought you in not only because the chemistry was good, but because in that time we'd had Derek Smart on, and we lost a bunch of listeners because we weren't all very pro Star Citizen anymore. But I wanted somebody who was still carrying the flame a little bit, to sort of give us a reality check or an alternative viewpoint. And you did that admirably, and continue to do so. I appreciate that very, very much. But in that same time, at that same vein, we had yet another addition to the show. I'm going to bring in now.
That side. Hey, we were in the middle of a conversation.
Then that's exactly when and he bails out. That guy's got some discipline problems. I don't know what he's going to have to, HR's going to have a talking to with him.
How many times has he been to HR? It's like, it's like he does this all the time.
I swear, the guy has. Oh, he's back. Welcome back, Henry. Is now a convenient time for you, Henry? Is now okay?
No, I'm not sure. Hold on, let me get my camera here. I am not sure what you're talking about there, Tony. I was in the middle of a conversation with Strife, who is, we work in the same kind of stuff, and you grabbed me without saying anything. I didn't even know I had been grabbed, though, because all I saw was a thing that say rejoin green room, and I hit the button. I didn't realize that you guys had taken me without, any prompting in the middle of a conversation.
That's how I explained.
Good at taking us right in the middle of our sentence.
Yeah, no, I explained that's how it's going. It's in your contract.
Oh yeah, Tony, it's in the contract. Actually, it says something about a van and a bag over my head, but I didn't. I mean, he can take me from here too.
Yeah, anywhere, pretty much anywhere, anyway.
It's pretty much covered in the contract.
Yeah, and there's an arbitration clause, so you can't take me to court about it. So yeah,
I didn't read it. My hand was sore. You had to sign it in blood. It was a mess. I didn't read the thing. I was focused on the pain. So anyway, yeah.
Focused on the pain. Perfect.
Am I monopolizing the?
No, that's good. That focusing on the pain is an excellent sort of segue into this, because we were just talking about how Ostron came on when it was a time of kind of turbulence. We had just had Derek Smart on, and that was a whole controversy. And I had stepped away for running for office, and Lennon had stepped away for other reasons, and and into this mix steps you, Henry. As I recall, and you tell me if I'm right or not, we had a conversation at Star Trek Las Vegas in 2016. Yeah.
You were. Oh gosh, let's see. We were hanging out with Priority One guys. Yep. I had just started kind of hanging out with them. I'd met them at the Cherry Hill, New Jersey Star Trek convention because I had stalked them like a crazy rabid fan, and managed to get myself in there. So that was cool. And then I met Tony, which was really cool because we were having a great time hanging out in Vegas with the Priority One guys. Mm-hmm. They took me around and introduced me to everybody. It was such a cool thing. I hadn't been working with them very long, and I got the chance to fly out there with them for Star Trek Con. And was it Brandon? Brandon, was it? Somebody grabbed me when I got off and took me around to meet everybody. And then I got handed off to Samuel Wall, who is a Star Trek Online
the artist
dev at Cryptic.
Yep.
And just hung around with him all night. We ended up having a partying and hanging out and having a good time. I didn't sleep that night, that first night at Star Trek Con until 8:30 the next morning when I got my hotel room finally, because I didn't have a room at first. And then I didn't want to sleep because I was around such a great bunch of guys, and I had a lot of fun. I met Tony. We were talking about Star Trek, and then we got into talking about Elite. And I told him I was building an Elite panel. that I was working
Right.
on.
Yeah.
With Arduino and stuff, which I never finished, but I had fun with,
Yeah.
And but anyway, we got to talking about Elite, and he told me, how Star Citizen was really letting everybody down because they were never coming out, and he was all cynical. And I was into Star Citizen, but I was really an Elite fan, so I came on to do that, which was really cool. I was mostly I was mostly in the Star Trek podcast in the beginning, but then when I started hanging out and working with Tony and doing that kind of stuff, I was just all guard frequency all the time. It was great. So I kind of moved to hear more from there. And it was cool, man. I had a lot of fun. Now, I will say, he brought me in at a really weird time. I was told I would be on his podcast and it would be fun. That's how he sold it to me. Hey, man, I do this podcast every Friday. You can do this recording and all that stuff. Day one, he's like, well, I'm not going to be here. Here's some strangers. So you just hit the button. I was like, son of a bitch. Who are these guys?
That's right. I need you to run the audio booth. That's right. Yeah, I need you to, you're a tech guy. You know this stuff. These guys they don't know anything about this.
Meanwhile, on the other side, it's like, hey, this guy, Henry's going to join in on the audio booth. And King Shadow, Jeff, and I are looking around at each other going, what audio booth? This is just a virtual thing. And then he's on there, and Tony runs off to parts unknown. And we're like, all right. Hey, Henry, how you doing?
For the first 6 months.
Yeah.
It was like the first 6 months before I knew. I was like, oh, I'm not just supposed to play the music there. I can answer a question. Cool. I didn't know. It probably wasn't that long, but it was a while. So anyway, I stopped being shy. I got obnoxious. Ostron left the show. It was something like that.
I don't think you were the cause of that, but yeah.
That's the order of events, but if you say it the right way, it sounds more interesting. And honestly, I don't know if that's why or not. I do miss you, Ostron. You're a great dude. But yeah, I got there, and then he was like, I'm out, guys. Jeff said, I'm committed. I'm never missing a show. I don't care who this dude is. And yeah, we had a lot of fun. But it took me a while to get in the swing of it. I will say the best thing that I ever got to do, the coolest thing that I ever got to do was when we interviewed Doug Drexler. That was super cool.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't want to say that's the coolest thing. The coolest thing is everybody I've met here has been really cool. I've loved doing the Priority 1 stuff and the guard frequency stuff. So I feel like I met a lot of great people here, and that's awesome. Yeah, so I'm glad I got a chance to be a part of it. I have been talking for a while there, so Tony.
That's perfect. No, that's great.
I
exactly.
Tell the whole story there, and
I
everything,
did.
So
it's perfect. You see, and I appreciate you saying that. It's been the people that's been your favorite part.
Yeah, definitely.
Because that's absolutely the case. I mean, I'm still kind of just I have warm, fuzzy, happy feelings that I get a dozen of my friends to come hang out with me on a Friday night to reminisce about the old days. I think that's just fun for me. I really appreciate you guys all showing up. Speaking of all of that, right around the time you joined, Henry, or shortly thereafter, I got a hankering, and I was a little jealous of Lennon for doing this whole tabletop RPG business stuff. And I thought, hey man, I can do that too, you guy. And so I thought it would be kind of fun, also because Star Citizen wasn't making a lot of news, wasn't generating a lot of news. Elite wasn't generating a whole lot of news on a regular basis. I needed to fill some time. So I thought, hey, let's do a live play for an RPG. I had kind of seen, I think that right around that time is kind of when live plays are starting to become popular. So I thought we could do that. And so I put one together, and I invited Henry and Brian and Shiv and Lennon to start EDRPG, and we did, and we ran the baseline episode, and it went pretty well. And then I thought, I need somebody else. Shiv needed to step back. He wasn't going to be able to record anymore, so I needed a fourth crew member. And so I got somebody from Lennon's show as revenge, and I'll bring her in now. Hello, Ryu.
Up. Hold on, I'm having an existential crisis.
Boo!
I got pulled out of something.
That's right. You're here now. You're here amongst us now. So let me do the intro here again. So for revenge, I reached in over to Heroes Rise podcast, and I stole someone from Lennon, like he stole a bunch of people from me, and I stole Ryu. Hey, Ryu.
Hi.
Hello. I was just telling everybody how I wanted some revenge, and so I started an RPG segment in our show. And when Shiv had to drop out of the table, I needed a fourth, and so I asked you, and you graciously accepted.
Yep.
So,
and that's my entire backstory. Bye, guys.
No.
Oh.
So tell us how you got set up with these jokers over at Heroes Rise first. How did you get with those guys?
Well, one day I was contacted by Mikey. Actually, I think Mikey talked to my husband first, Gaff, and was like, "Hey, I've got some friends who are trying to make a D&D podcast, and we need another DM to come and talk on the show." And Gaff was like, "I don't really want to do that, but Ryu DMs." And it got switched over to me. And then they were like, "Wait, you DM and you're a girl?
Yes.
We have to interview you." So
We had 2 criteria. That was it. You nailed both of them. And then we did like a trial show. Like there's an episode 0, because every D&D campaign needs a session 0, right? So there is an episode 0 where we entirely made up the script and we ran through it as if it were a live show, and Ryu genuinely just nailed it from day one. Episode 0, no bloopers from her. Me and Ostron screwing up all over the place. Ryu just bam, straight on there.
Well, you learned how to screw up at guard frequency. I mean, that's where you learned all of your screw-ups.
Yeah,
I mean, and so he taught you that, and Ryu just came in and just didn't have that sort of baggage.
I mean, by episode 10, half the blooper reel was Ryu.
Right,
yeah,
she
it's
learned.
Yeah.
She got in there really quick.
Yeah, she
And
picked it up.
And at least half of my bloopers were just Gaff sneezing in the background.
Well, okay, all right. So
No, Gath sneezed in the background, the foreground, the side walls, and well into the upper atmosphere.
Into the Underdark.
yes, and I do remember because Lennon and I were still friends even after he stole half my personnel, and he said, "Hey, we're looking for our third host," and he sent me a snippet of that. I think it was part of session 0, and I said, "I'd listen to her read the phone book. You have to have her." Yeah, you have to have her, and so and then it's not like they needed another opinion to say get her, but they had mine, and so.
No, I was showing off. I was like, look who we've got. Look who we've got on our show.
That makes sense.
And she's a woman.
And because she was a DM.
Did I tell you guys I'm starting an ASMR podcast? Did I tell you guys I'm starting an ASMR podcast? And so I'm going to steal Ryu so she can read the phone book on my podcast.
I think she probably wanted to be like an elvish phone book, right? Like a dwarvish phone book.
Draconic, please.
Draconic.
Yes.
Okay, my fault. But yeah, so no, when she's a DM and she's a natural, maybe she'll play an RPG with us. And so I approached you and asked, and you said yes, and the rest is history? ?
The really funny thing about that, though, is that, at least it's funny to me, is that I had never played a TTRPG that was not D&D before that point. And so I came to that game kind of trying to play it like D&D, and then I was like, oh, this is actually something that already has a backstory in a video game that all of these guys have played, and I have no idea what is going on.
Well, and that's okay, because honestly, none of us have any idea what's going on. There's a lot of holes in the Elite lore. We're just mostly making it up as we go. It's fine. It was fine.
I'd like to add on to that there. When I came to the game, Ryu, I was coming from a position of I love Elite, but it does all the math for me, and I've never played a tabletop RPG, at least not seriously. So here I am at the first time. They're asking me what did my role? How did I do? I'm like, fuck, I don't know. So it was a lot of, okay. And we had played through our first couple of sessions before I learned you could tick the box when you do something. So I missed a whole bunch of stuff. It was really, really crazy. So yeah, I feel your pain there, but kind of from the other way.
Yeah, from the other direction. Well, it made hours and hours of good radio. I regret nothing. So
It actually made hours and hours of cutting room floor trash where I was going, what is the number when you do that again? Because at the very worst part of it is they did it when I was tired. So I just never picked it up.
Mikey's right here. You can just thank him now, Henry. You can just say, thank you, Mikey.
Oh, thank you, Mikey. That's Tony's fault, but thank you. He didn't give me much training. The on-the-job training was like, oh, not only are you on the job training, we're on the air. We're going to record all this for everyone. It's like, you son of a bitch. The best thing you ever did for our game was to add the macros to the keyboard, where now I just hit one button. Because now I do that and look at you like, it's an 8. Like, I know what that means. So
yeah, the EDRPG system is not. It's not good radio, and so yeah, I've had to make some adjustments. So far, they're going well. We're about to have our first space fight under my new rules. We'll see how that goes tomorrow. Fingers crossed. Hopefully that works out well. Also, so Shiv is crossing all of his fingers at this point. Speaking of the EDRPG, well, actually, no. To go in order here, I first need to bring in Bill Hardy, who, at about this time, we recruited Bill to help us out as well, and he wasn't able to be with us tonight, so I will bring him in now. And Mikey will do the harps. Nostalgia. And then we'll bring in Mikey. And we'll bring in Bill Hardy, and Bill will say his bit, and we'll do that. And then... All right, so thanks, Bill. And we will... Actually, I'll clap that in. So thanks, Bill. Appreciate you taking time to record that with me. And we will now continue on our EDRPG saga here, and I will bring in a Crocy.
So I don't get thanked? Is that how it is? Fine.
That's how it is with him. Yeah.
Thank you,
don't
Ryu.
Expect much.
Ryu, you're the best.
I know.
Okay, good.
Look at that.
I'll say it out loud. It's all right.
Look at that politician's smile.
I practiced it for years, Jeff. I mean, I need to get some mileage out of it. I'm not using it for anything else anymore. So, all right. So, is it all right if I bring in a Crocy now?
I guess.
Okay, thanks very much. Okay, here I go. I'm doing it now. And now we're bringing in our other EDRPG accomplice, Crocy. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right.
Very good. Hey, so we're just talking about how we recruited Ryu to come in when Shiv had to step back, and then we have we had another opening at the table when Lennon had to step away, and so we brought in Mr. Crocy. So once you tell us, how did you come to be involved in this whole guard frequency shenanigan?
Yeah. So I think the RPG is what I do most now, both player and then a little bit on the editing side.
A lot on the editing side.
A lot on the editing side.
All on the editing side, yeah.
All of the editing.
All of the editing.
But I first got involved with kind of everything from the Elite Dangerous side because I think I initiated the conversation with Shiv. And this was, I think, April 2018.
Yeah, that's about right.
I tried to find the date, but I couldn't. But it was around April 2018.
You know, our standard is just meh or here or not.
That's fine.
That's April-ish. Fine.
Yeah. And it was around when the guard frequency player group, the organization,
right. Minor
kind of
faction.
started to the minor faction, that's the word I was looking for. Started to kind of become more of a thing. I think you had already had the faction in game for a bit, but it was just kind of this fun little thing.
I just took it to reserve the name. Basically, we weren't doing anything with it.
Yeah. Which is awesome. It was great. And at the time, I had been toying around with a smaller group that I was playing Elite with as well. We had our own minor faction, and we'd been, manipulating the background sim for, a few months or so. And I reached out to Shiv and said, "Hey, Shiv, I know you guys have the minor faction that you just got in the game. If you need any help, working out how the background sim works. I've been doing it for a little while, so I'd be happy to, lend my services. And that's really kind of when I initially got really involved. As I worked with Shiv to pen, to write out the ops guide, and.
It's still on our Discord.
We started doing all that. It is.
It's still there, unchanged since 2019 or 2020. But yeah, it's still there.
Yeah. April 27th, 2018, 10:18 p.m. Eastern
That's your
time.
first post, yeah.
That was there, and just kept editing that and expanded on it and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Under your tutelage, I think we still control 4 or 5 systems at least. Yeah, it's not just us that have sort of frittered away from the background sim. A lot of other player groups have too. So the systems we controlled at the end of 2020 or so are still there, and we could pick that up anytime we wanted to, and probably expand quite a bit if we felt like it. But with PowerPlay 2.0 coming, I don't know if the rules are going to change or if they're going to mess with that at all. So
we have just for the record, we have a presence in 10 systems.
Yeah, but I think we own like 4 or 5 of them, right?
I'm on Inara checking right now.
I
think it's 4.
Anseath, Badejo, LTT 2581, and one
Ista.
more. Ista. Yeah, Kista with a K.
Kista.
Kista with a K, yep. All right. Yep. Yeah. So, you made a
and
lasting
we actually
impression.
own Lafkila as well.
Oh, so it was 5.
We are the controlling faction Lafkila.
So, wow, we have an empire.
I know.
Good on us. All right.
Go team.
Yeah. All right. And then you came on officially onto the show as an on-air sort of personality with the RPG.
Right.
Shortly after that. And I just recently found out that you are quite a prolific DM yourself, or GM yourself. I just found that out with the discussion with Shiv. How many games are you dabbling in these days?
So playing in Guard Frequency, obviously. I have a regular kind of home group. We're remote now ever since COVID. We play weekly. Currently, I'm running us through a Dragonbane adventure. We might be taking a little detour to do some Delta Green for a Halloween-themed thing. I run Shiv. And our group. We have a twice monthly group that I've run us through on that. Currently, we're running through the Fallout. Yep. And then currently on hiatus, but I've got another one on like a weekend, a couple times a month, but currently on break for that one.
Cool. All right. So, well, I have unwittingly perhaps put together an extremely experienced and talented group of DMs and players for.
I think I've got you matched because I'm the DM for three other games and a player in another one. So yeah.
Are you making a bid? Are you making a bid to bring Rostro back, Ostrom? Is that what you're saying? You're saying you want to?
No, not
See
officially.
the table. You got one if you want one. It's there. It's there. There's room for you. If you want to bring Rostro in, we can do that. Or something else. You didn't have to be the robot. You can be somebody else.
We'll have to talk contract negotiations later.
I'll cut out the non-compete clause. Fine. Jeez.
No, we're past that. Now we're into compensation.
All right. Well, good.
Also, I want to say I'm really glad that you brought Okrosi on board because I think his character is my character's best friend. So
it's true. I think you do.
It all started with the offered Twinkies.
That's the thing about RP, right? It's just those stupid little jokes, right? And the characters kind of bounce off of it. And the opposite thing with Brian and Henry, when they're with their little caper with the dog and trying to siphon the money and make $1 billion. I mean,
and it would have worked too if not for those pesky kids.
That's all right. We'll figure something out, Brian. We'll get that back.
Straight.
I think what it is Brian is outwardly what my character is inwardly. So
he's an enabler.
I'm just the guy that's willing to lie about it.
Yeah. Henry fantasizes about killing anacondas full of federal agents, and I just do it.
Great.
All right. And so, and now speaking about, talking about inner worlds and outer worlds and cooperation among friends, I need to now bring in a parallel podcast that we sort of we associated ourselves with this long-standing production known as Galnet News Digest, and with that we acquired a pair of Lennon's countrymen and a countrywoman from Great Britain, and I'd like to introduce Wotherspoon and Beetlejude, and they pre-recorded something, and so we will do nostalgia and the harps and
nostalgia.
Play Wotherspoon and Beetlejude's recording, and I'll close that out. Well, thank you both, Wotherspoon and Beetlejude, for joining us and recording that with us tonight. And we're down to our final guest of the evening, the most recent recruit to our show. And we're down to our final guest of the evening and our most recent recruit to Guard Frequency. Hello, Strife. How are you this fine evening, sir? Oh, you're muted.
I was talking the whole time. I wasn't muted. I don't know what you're talking about.
So, how you doing tonight?
Good. How about yourself?
Good. All right. So you have the distinction of being the youngest member, quote quote, of the group. Don't need to know your actual age. That wasn't an invitation. But you're the latest in the long line of personnel here. Tell us how you came to be involved in Guard Frequency.
Good question. I started. Well, Heroes Rise asked for an editor, audio editor.
Oh.
Okay. So I was listening to Guard Frequency, and then the Heroes Rise ads or whatever. So I started listening to Heroes Rise. Then Heroes Rise asked for an editor, and then when they thought I was okay enough to actually edit, I told Mikey I'd be willing to edit for the old guys yelling at Space Game Clouds. And here we are.
Yeah, because Mikey's
so is that more poaching I smell, Tony?
Yeah,
is
that
what that is?
I was getting my revenge slowly but surely, and actually, it's probably the only way that Mikey would keep doing it. It would keep editing both shows if he got help on both shows. So you're a great help to Mikey, I'm sure, and so thank you, Strife.
Absolutely.
Yes, thank you very much for agreeing to help him out. So another point of poaching. So you said you started listening to Guard Frequency and then moved over. Were you interested in Elite and Star Citizen, or one or the other more?
Well, so I backed Star Citizen whenever it became available. I have a golden ticket. I backed the first day it was the founding campaign started, and I would periodically look for a Guard or a Star Citizen related podcast.
Right.
You know who else has a golden ticket? I hear Jeff has a golden ticket.
Yeah.
Jeff,
I've heard that.
Yes, I have a golden ticket.
I think Elliot has a golden ticket too, but he left. He could tell you that.
So then,
yeah.
But I also have the same deal with all the expansions for Elite because I backed that when it became available.
You know who else did that? I think Jeff did that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did that too.
Yeah, Jeff did that too.
Yeah.
Jeff.
Yeah, I also bought the watch version of Starfield.
Yeah.
I did not do that. No.
Well, you
Fool
know
me 3 times. Wait, no.
Right. So Jeff is just he's a little too enthusiastic, I think, is what that tells us.
No, I just believe in space sims. That's all.
Oh, okay.
You know.
Yeah.
Does that include No Man's Sky?
Yeah, I was gonna say I have No Man's Sky.
What was that?
Go,
I'm
Mikey.
sorry. Can you say that again? Hello? I'm losing you here.
Glad you said it, Mikey, because if you weren't, I was gonna. So yeah, nice job. All right. So
I said I believe in space sims.
Tell
You said you say Space Sims, then you say Starfield, and I'm a little confused here.
Yeah, Jeff. What makes Starfield a space sim? Now we have to have this conversation. This takes us all the way back to episode 1.
No. We're not going to have this conversation.
That's what it is. The fact that he bought the most expensive possible version and can't say this isn't a space sim.
Right. That's
he invested.
It's not
No Man's
no,
Sky.
Starfield is not a space sim, so don't misquote me there.
No, it's more of like a broken Skyrim with an arcade game attached
There
to
you
it in
go.
space.
There, Henry's got it.
Honestly,
No Man's Skyrim.
No, I actually went back and started playing Starfield because on the last week's show I said I don't know if I'm gonna actually do it or not, but I started a fresh character and I was like, I'll give it a shot. And I've been avoiding the main storyline. Like I've just been kind of putting that off and putting it on my lowest of priority list of things to do, and I'm enjoying it. If you do it and you don't play this main story, it is very Fallout-esque, you know. You're meeting people and doing things, and I always pick the version where you're the kid. You've got parents living there, and they're voiced by Tim Russ and Nana Visitor, and it's like, oh, that's why this game was good. That's why this game was fun. If you ignore the stupid artifact thing, like the rest of it's fun.
Until we beat it.
Yeah,
that's exactly right. Because the day you beat it, you're just like, well, what the hell?
What the hell did I do all that for? I'm just never going to do that.
I'm going to take that. I'm going to take that advice. And I'm going to do it because it was fun until then. I'll tell you what, it was fun until then.
Yeah.
The gameplay itself, and even exploring Mars was fun.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yes.
So.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to try that, and I will let you know how it goes.
Yeah, let me know how it goes.
That game will run on the Legion Go, and I got the update because just like Jeff, I bought a $100 copy of Starfield.
Me too.
Includes
the DLC.
The download that I would have got for $30 today. So we'll see where the rest of that $100 goes.
So far, I'm liking it. So far, I'm enjoying it.
We'll see. I'm going to give it a shot because that makes a lot of sense, Tony. There are times where you just don't want to know too much about the world you're in, man. You know, it's just like if you're having a conversation with someone and you absolutely know it does not matter, that's the game they made.
Speaking of not knowing too much, I want to go around the table and in reverse order for the people that are still here, and I'm just going to ask a question. Are we going to need to do another 500 episodes of this show before we finally get some closure on these games that we've been covering for so long, Elite and Star Citizen? Do we see ourselves doing this for another 10 years? And I'm going to start with Strife, and we're going to go backwards in time from Strife. I mean, is that the future we're staring at?
What are you talking about before the game releases? Because in theory, it'll release and then we'll update.
Yeah, I mean, I think. Let me ask.
Covering ED because
your question contains the answer, Strife. I think that. I mean, that may be what the heart and soul of the question is. Are we going to keep going past the release, and when is that release? And is it going to be 500 episodes? What do you think?
Well, I don't see why not. I mean, why stop now?
It's fantastic. That's a yes. All right, who's next? Is it Crocy? I think it goes to Crocy next.
Yeah, I think that's me. I mean, it's an easy answer, right? I mean, No Man's Sky is out. We've had so many expansions on it to date, and we just keep getting more. So I mean, I hope that we're still talking about it 10 years from now, and the mad lads over at
Hello Games,
over at Hello Games, just keep putting out good stuff.
And Jeff will keep showing up week after week for it. That's good.
Yeah,
it's a good answer. I like that answer. Ryu, what do you think? Are we? I guess for you, it's the RPG. Are we still going to be having fun with this 10 years from now? 500 more episodes?
I think if we're still doing the RPG in 500 more episodes, we are going to have so many antics.
So you'll stick around for the antics.
I will stick around for the antics.
You've got the Twinkies, right?
Yeah, and the antics and the Twinkies.
But as far as the game portion of it, as far as the space sim portion of it, I'm sure that another sim will come out that you guys will talk about. So
I like that attitude.
I'm
that's
worried.
Faith. That's faith of the heart. That's what that is. I like that quite a bit. All right, Henry, are we going for another 500?
You know,
as Jeff holds up a box of Twinkies.
I think
pumpkin Twinkies.
I think we'll go another 500 before Star Citizen is finished in terms of there's no more development on it. But I think we'll be playing something with story and more fun well before then. How far well before then? Let's put it on the roadmap for episode 300, and then we can gently push it gently down the road.
You're right. Looking ahead to episode 300.
Looking ahead
to episode 300.
Yeah, by episode 300, the feature we will have is a This Week in Star Citizen,
Right.
and it'll be what happened in the released game. And then if that's not ready, we'll just push it down.
We'll just push it a little bit. Yeah, push it to episode
Answer
350.
the call, episode 300. Right?
Yeah.
It'll be like,
one of my
answer the call,
YouTube
young fellers.
one of my YouTube bots is pulls in compilations of upcoming space games. You know, some with Unreal and Engine and stuff.
Jeff,
some of the stuff that's coming is looking pretty good.
Jeff, wait your turn. You get to go like last, okay? You get the last word. You get the last word. Brian's turn now. Brian.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jeff.
No, shush.
One of my YouTube bots pulls together compilations of videos.
Oh, shut up. God damn you.
No, but you know, Jeff's interrupting point is actually pretty good in that there are a lot of good things on the horizon. I mean, things we cover on the show, like HunterNet Starfighter, right?
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing, his vision actually flesh out the way he's talked about it. It sounds like a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, right now, again, it's still...
It's a prototype. Yeah.
It's still a arena-y, you know, but if he actually gets those other, not MMO, but, open...
Yeah, whatever. He's doing something kind of different. I don't know if there's a way to describe it in 2 words, yeah.
But it's just as an example, right? That's another fresh take. It's a space sim, space fighters shooting it up, and there's probably half a dozen other ones we can find, as Jeff will list in his segment, that are also, good things on the horizon. So there's never going to be a lack for things to talk about in this space.
All right.
We'll see what happens with Star Citizen, but as said before, I have fun regardless there.
All right. Ostron, what do you think?
Yeah, I think you guys are fine. Because, and I'll bring this up because it was a point that we reached at Heroes Rise, where to Kin Shadow's, touching on what Kin Shadow said, we were running into the same problems that Guard Frequency did when it was becoming more and more obvious that Star Citizen was going to be... I'll just say it was going to take slightly longer than estimated to get to a finished product.
What a generous man.
You don't have to hold any punches here. We've come to grips with the reality of it.
So we ran into similar issues with Heroes Rise because there was, for those who don't know, there was a whole mess with some licensing issues and content creation that I won't try to summarize, but it got the community really riled up. And we realized we were losing listeners without us doing anything. Like, we hadn't changed our format, we hadn't changed our coverage, we hadn't invited a controversial figure from the community on for an interview.
You're saying that's like a mistake. You're saying it's like a mistake to do that. What? What are you talking about? I don't understand. I don't get it.
But we were losing listeners, and we were like, hey, can we pivot somewhere else? And we realized it would be...
Feng Shui too. I don't have any alcohol, but I'd drink if I heard that, if I had.
Yeah. We didn't have a good way to do that because tabletop RPGs are very diverse from one another if they get any traction. Mm-hmm. Like, you can't stop playing D&D and pick up EDRPG without a fairly significant learning curve. And also, the two audiences don't always mesh.
No.
But you guys are covering space sims. As long as people still like Star Wars in any form, you're going to have an audience of people who want to play those games. And like Kin Shadow said, and Jeff alluded to, except we're not going to talk about that yet.
Not yet.
There are a bunch of different things on the horizon. I think in some ways the fact that the genre sort of stalled earlier may be a benefit, because I think unlike some genres in video games, there are more ways to go with it that haven't been explored yet. So yeah, I'd say you can probably fill another 500 episodes.
All right, Mikey, what do you think? You in for another 500?
I could do that.
All right. Do we have to keep on screwing up, or do you want less screw ups or more screw ups? I mean, how do you want us to do that?
A perfect amount of screw ups.
Okay,
I've got to laugh every now and then.
Okay. All right, we'll keep screwing up the exact right amount to make the workload light for you there. All right, so good.
Well, I will say I have not actually invested anything in the Star Citizen, but I really very much do hope it does come out and is everything that it has been promised, because it sounds like it's going to be really, really heckin' fun.
That has, yes, in previous interviews and other shows that the selling the dream has become, I think, the major selling point of Star Citizen, and so we all hope a version of that dream does come to fruition sometime before my youngest graduates college. Hopefully. All right. Jace has stepped away, so he would be next, but and Skiffy is not here. Neither is Ben. So I guess we'll take that to Shiv now. I think it's Shiv's turn. What do you think?
I think we'll be playing Squadron 42 real soon. Probably
Fingers
right after
crossed.
CitizenCon.
Oh, you are. You know, I usually rely on Kin Shadow to be the beacon of optimism, but I think that's really your job, Shiv. I think that
yeah, all I do is I ignore the development channel, and my life is pretty good. Well,
yeah. For certain definitions of good, yeah.
And no, I think we might. We'll have to get our own maybe merch of Fruity Odie bars that we can just buy for ourselves.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
To go another 500 episodes. But
yeah, we definitely need to work on that. Okay, all right.
I think when we still could do another Feng Shui 2 episode.
Actually, that's not a bad idea. We should probably explore that, because I think that would be a lot of fun.
Large frequency feng shui.
Yeah, you were on those, weren't you, Brian? Yeah, you were on those.
I was.
The feng shui. Yeah, those are fun.
We just did one, right? I can't remember.
No, we did two. We did one like a long time ago, and then one also a long time ago, but not as long ago. So we've done, and I think that one actually was broken up into 2 segments because it went long. So yeah, technically 3 episodes, but 2 sessions. So I'd be down for another one. And that would give us content to go to 500. Obviously, we could just keep doing feng shui if we needed to fill time. Great, that's right.
And make sure you're awake this time, Macrosi, and
you play too. All right, Lennon, we going for another 500?
Yeah, I mean, like Ryu said, with the pivot from just Star Citizen to space sims to space games, there is so much that you guys can cover. There are games that will come out. There are games that will launch. There were games that will be in development that will never get updates. There's one that I've been following on YouTube for a while now called Interstellar Frontier, but the dev hasn't updated a video on that in about a year, so who knows if that one will ever see the light of day. But it was looking really cool as well, and I was so
modeling right now. He's been
is
modeling
he?
every show for the past 6 months.
Nice. Well, if he would keep his fans updated on YouTube, that would be great.
Is that modeling the game?
No, yeah, I'm working on the game. The name of the game is Interstellar Frontier, but the YouTube channel is Graphics, Gears, and Wires. Thanks for the plug there, Lennon.
You're welcome. All right, well, what about you, Tony? Do you think...
No, it's not my turn.
Jeff, sorry.
It's not my turn. It's now Jeff's turn. Jeff, I cut you off, but everyone seems to want to hear what you have to say, because they all referred to it. So it's now your turn. You have the floor.
You know how ancient I am. I've been playing space games for a long time. Jumpgate, Beyond Space, BattleTech 3025. These were games that were out in the 90s and early 2000s that have perpetuated the genre from our regular PC, our single player PC games out into the MMO world. And it took a dive for a while. And then, we got excited about Star Citizen, actually Squadron 42, because the genre it was never going to go away. Our innate need to go beyond our boundary, even as human beings, and we look with excitement at SpaceX or what Boeing is doing, or
maybe not Boeing. Maybe not Boeing. Not Boeing. No.
Anyway,
Too soon.
we want to go beyond what our earthbound selves, which is why we play in a virtual world. So I think that we'll be doing this for a very long time because it'll cycle through again. Well, there's a bunch of new stuff out on the web that you can see snippets of that look really, really good. How they pan out, how far they go, that's really up to our interest, I think. And for some of us, the interest is high, like myself, and for others, it's like, we'll get around to it. But I think we'll be doing it. I think we'll be doing this podcast for a long time yet to come.
Well, I guess I'm going to take the last word because, obviously. And I'm going to start by thanking you all for coming in and sharing your memories and your thoughts. And I will keep doing these as long as you guys keep showing up, because that's really what this is. It's a bunch of people who enjoy each other's company, who enjoy a common project and a common work, and like hanging out with each other and sharing a little bit of ourselves with a wider audience that thinks and feels the way we do. So, and that goes for the audience members too. If people keep listening and writing in, then we'll keep going, because we enjoy what we do, and it's a fun hobby, and I get to do it with great people. And why would we quit? Why would we stop doing that? So, speaking of which, now it's time to jump into the feedback loop and let you join in on the fun. And that part's over. So, there's a practical note. Everybody who is not Brian, Henry, and Jeff, thank you for coming. I appreciate you guys giving up part of your Friday night, most of your Friday night, to do this with us. And, I'll see you in another 100 episodes or so. We'll figure out some other crazy, zany thing to do for 600. And
or tomorrow.
Somebody will say tomorrow. Yeah.
Yep.
With you saying that we're still going to be doing this in 500 episodes, the worst thing about that is you are always wrong. So, thanks for taking the show, Tony.
No. No.
He could also be wrong in the other way, in that it'll be going on for another 5,000 episodes.
In order of magnitudes.
Yeah. And here's the other thing too, is that I found Clown Bobo. Clown Bobo. Clown
What's
Bobo.
the costume in your closet?
No. The Clown Bobo shall be revealed.
Have to keep him fresh.
The identity of Clown Bobo shall be revealed. And he reminded me.
We don't need HR involved.
With smoke and mirrors.
No, hang on. And he reminded me that he was the originator of hashtag Tony is right. He reminded me that he was the first one to, which of course then spawned. I didn't like him. And that's which of course spawned the counter hashtag Tony is wrong. So he reminded me that that's what happened. So So the identity of Clown Bobo shall be revealed, and all.
You can't fool us, Tony. We know the truth.
Seriously,
whatever you present is just smoke and mirrors.
Nope.
Wait, do I have to actually listen to the episode this time to find out who?
Yes. Yes, you do. Yeah, it's. I'm going to.
Before everyone else.
What's that?
Does that mean I get to find out before everyone?
Mikey gets to know before everybody else. So this would be the time to kiss Mikey's ass, very, very much, if you want to find out the secret before it goes live. So, yep. That's how that's gonna work. But yeah, and I honestly, I mean, it's fun in games. You say, "Aha, Tony's actually Clown Bobo." I'm not, and I think when the identity is revealed, some of you are gonna go, "Ha ha ha," ha and kind of have a good laugh. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
I don't know if I want the mystery. I don't know if I really want it solved. I wish Clown Bobo would come back.
He and I talked about that, actually. We talked about that. I'm like, I said, think about it, because he asked me to keep his identity secret back in the day. He thought about it, and he does. He's cool with it now. But back then, he thought that would cause some stress and some friction and stuff. And I said, if you want to, that's fine. But if you don't, that's okay too, because the mystery is fun. But he thought he'd just come clean and reveal the identity this time. So thanks, Clown Bobo. If you're listening tonight, and I bet you are, Thanks for sending the message in.
You're going to reveal it on this episode when we listen.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
All
I'm
right.
trusting you here, Tony.
You should. This isn't like poker where I'm calling bluffs. I actually have the cards. I actually have the cards.
That's not really like care, but I'll be looking for the file.
You're gonna have. I'm sending it straight to Mikey. It's not going to be in the drive. So yeah. Anyway, good night to everybody. If you're welcome to stay as we listen to feedback, as we do feedback and closing if you'd like to. But if not, thank you very much for joining, and I'll talk to you guys soon.
All right, see you later.
Buenos
Cheers.
noches.
Bye.
Later, everybody.
Snoogans.
Ciao.
Snookins. All right. If the four of us would get an Audacity session ready.
Yeah.
So we're doing feedback, is that right?
That is correct. We're doing feedback and then closing. And those documents should be prepared.
I see no letters in feedback, young man.
Well, I can fix that. I was told by Lennon very strictly not to look at the sunset beforehand. He wanted it to be a surprise. So
Lennon just Lennoned himself.
did he? Shame on him.
He posted in staff chat the Obi-Wan Kenobi gif in relation to Clown Bobo, and I posted that like a week ago.
Well, I mean, there's a reason why it's called Lennoning. So I mean, that's kind of his shtick. It's kind of his bag. Oh, I should.
Bobo thing. It reminds me of Fight Club if both people were Ed Norton at the beginning and stayed that way through the whole.
Nope. Nope. Nope.
No.
Like I say, old school Star Citizen people will appreciate this. That's the only additional clue I'm gonna give at the moment.
Brian, I love that shirt you got, man. Where did you get that? That is badass.
I bought it in a secondhand store.
Did you? There aren't many of those.
No, there are not. I think I might have made 6. I think I might have gotten like 6 or 8, maybe a dozen. Not.
That's not one of the ones I printed back in the day. You made them after?
Nope. This is before. These predated that.
Before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. This one. I made these before I went down to go interview Eric, down in Texas. Yeah.
I thought it looked good, but now that I look at it, it's kind of
ugly. You don't like it as much. Yeah.
I don't think I got one of the ones you printed. I don't think I got one of those.
I still got that whole setup, but I don't have time to print shirts anymore. So
yeah. Well,
not happening.
Yeah. Now you guys are gonna get wings, so you'll need to wear a nicer shirt, something with a collar and buttons. I think maybe a jacket of some kind. Because you'll have something shiny and fancy to put on there.
Probably
I forgot to ask.
My bike jacket on the shoulder.
Oh yeah, no, that'll look good. No, but I forgot to ask when everybody was here. But so the magnet problem has been solved, and I want to get your guys' take on this. So the problem is that when they didn't make the backing at the same time as they made the wings, there's no way of telling which orientation the magnets are, and so they couldn't glue or attach the magnets into the backing. So these magnets are I have like 200 of these loose magnets and then 100 of these metal things. If you put the magnets on the back of the thing and then drop them in the tray in the proper orientation, it works great. Should I bother gluing them in? Because it holds just nicely. Because if you,
I wouldn't.
And the other thing is that the tray, the distance between the magnets is different than the distance between the magnets on the back of the wings. Like the tray is farther apart. So, but when you do it like this, if you do it like that, it snaps and it works great. It's fine.
Just no magnets in the tray.
Yeah, no magnets. You can do that too. You can take the magnets out of the tray and it works good. It's not as strong as a pull. So like Henry's jacket, it might not be strong enough to go through the jacket material without the other magnets.
No, I planned to alter mine just a bit with tools.
Oh, do you?
You said you're getting one for Tracy, so I'm going to put hers on my shoulder.
Okay, yeah.
Motorcycle jacket.
Do you need more? Do you need 3 or 4 of them?
No. That's cool. I'm happy.
Okay.
I'm going to do the one. It's going to be cool, but I'll have one I'll wear when I'm on the show.
Okay. All right.
The other one, I'm gonna put a solid backing on with something. So.
Okay. Awesome.
I might take it someplace. I used to work at a store that did that kind of stuff, so
oh, cool.
I'll go in there and see how they can do it.
Oh, I definitely want to get a picture of that when you're done with it. Oh, I got the cat here.
Before I hand out the extras that you give me, Tony,
yeah.
I will be vajazzling myself in guard frequency pen.
I'm gonna get mine set into my forehead like Teal'c on Stargate.
Oh, that's indeed O'Neill. Nice.
I'm not really doing that though.
Okay, well, it was a nice picture.
At 1,000 episodes, I still won't do that. You know what? I'll tell you right now. If we hit 1,000 episodes, I will do that to Brian.
I'll commit Brian to that right now.
Noble sacrifice there, Henry.
Okay, all right. Everybody have an Audacity session up? I've put letters on the thing.
I didn't do any of it. Son of a gun.
Okay, to get it ready. Actually, I need to put a note in here also because I think I'm going to do the recordings that we got sent in, including the Clown Bobo reveal.
There's that file's on the drive now. Let's find that.
Okay. All right. Everybody ready?
No, I need documents. I'm working on it though, but
okay.
I need flight deck or
no, feedback. Just feedback.
Feedback.
Just feedback.
Okay.
You got it. Thank you, sirs.
Okay.
I am ready.
Hit that big red button in 3, 2. This is.
I'm sorry, guys.
Okay.
No, I had the document up, and then you started counting down. I hadn't even hovered. I apologize.
That's right. That's right.
Hey, the 500th episode, and I forgot to hover. That's my favorite.
That's
part.
classic. That's classic Henry.
All right. Classic Henry.
Like clearing my deck. What the heck am I?
Clear your deck.
I apologize, guys.
No problem.
That's Lennon's fault. When you see him, let him know he messed that up really bad.
He won't take that personally. He'll accept it. He's British. He'll apologize to you for that.
I say that because I was reading his some say as I was supposed to be switching.
Oh, so it really was his
switching
fault.
windows.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and I didn't hear the hover button, so I didn't stop.
This is why he didn't want me to read it ahead of time. He wanted me to be surprised. So
I only got halfway through it, so
okay. You still could be surprised. All right, everybody ready now? Good.
Hovering.
Jeff, you hovering?
Yep.
All right, here we go. 3, 2. This is Tony. Feedback. Sync 1.
This is Jeff. Feedback. Sync 2.
This is Ken Shadow. Feedback. Sync 3.
This is Henry. Feedback. Sync 4.
All right. Feedback in 3, 2. Some say he worships a forest god who rejected nature and became the god of metallurgy. And that's how he's the first devout follower of non-stick Pan. But all I know is he's called the Brit, and he'll put together this week's feedback. Yeah. Okay.
I love it.
This is treading into that whole you need to understand Greek mythology sort of zone where Shiv got in trouble with his scientific name for grass and ants and stuff. It's creeping that way. I don't want to see that trend followed.
Let me tell you something. Doing this every week, I'm sure he needs time to recharge. Now Shiv did it how long before he got to the point where we just needed a break? How long? No, I'm just kidding. That's not what happened. But,
no,
you got to give him credit. Of course, they can't all be a fart in the wallet, as they say. I don't remember where that expression started.
How did that expression get started?
They can't.
Lost to the mists of time. Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, I thought it was good. I thought it was good, and I don't think he's straying too far there. I think that's great. Non-stick pan. Who doesn't know what that means? Community question. Do you know what that means?
I don't.
Was that too far? Was it a step too far?
It was. Jeff.
Is Lennon getting burned out?
Rescue Henry, Jeff.
Recap of last week's community questions. Should Frontier's incentives playing Power Play 2.0 and open?
No. Should Frontier incentivize?
Oh, right. Sorry. I'll get a little closer this time.
Get your broadcast glasses on.
Recap of last week's community questions. Should Frontier incentivize playing Power Play 2.0 and open as opposed to solo or private modes? What risk-reward balance would be appropriate? Community question 2. Any more Community Question 2. Any more notes on the EDRPG? So far, we're having shorter adventures, more puzzles, faster fights, and more grenades. Last chance before Tony does whatever the hell he wants.
Steak Typhoon, love the name, writes in and says, number 1, open only, quote unquote, comes with certain expectations. You expect to be able to see other players in a system and defend against them. You expect to encounter the enemy and attack them. But all that only works when you can get into the same instance. The truth is the game's infrastructure just doesn't support that. When I join Lave Radio in the station bar, I have to set my VPN to London because only then will it work. Not even Cambridge is close enough, and that's only 60 miles away. Quote unquote open only is just too unreliable for Frontier to commit to. Quote unquote open only is just too unreliable for Frontier to commit to, so I doubt they'll ever go for it. For Community Question 2, as it's a new season, a recap episode or a reintroduction to the game's systems would be nice. Here's an idea for free. A beach episode? Fan service, anyone?
A beach episode. I'm writing that down.
We did do a Pleasure Planet, sort of, kind of.
Did we?
That was more of a money grab, but yeah.
When did we
I
do
feel
that?
like a beach episode is just a gratuitous chance to get me in a Speedo, and I don't appreciate it.
That's okay. Most fan service episodes don't appreciate it either.
It wasn't home supposed to be a Pleasure Planet? I mean, we didn't do any pleasuring.
Kind of. Yeah, you didn't have any fun there. I mean, Crossy bought ice cream. I mean,
he did.
So there's
that.
that.
Was ridiculous.
He bought ice cream. That was about all. That's all the fun
ridiculous.
you had.
So okay, on the open only thing,
yeah.
I mean, but his point is that you can't be guaranteed to find anybody. But I don't think that was. I don't think. Well, hold on. Let me back up. His point is you can't find anybody specific. Like he's trying to find specific people, right? I think no matter where your location is, if you're in open, there's a chance you run into people, right? And I think that's the whole point, right?
Right.
I don't think you're going to be able to ever get to the point where you're trying to deny someone a system and someone's online playing them, and so you get on to open with them and try and pew them in order to stop them.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. That's never going to happen. I think the only reason to make something open only is so that everybody has
a chance,
some element of risk, right, associated with the activity. I mean
This reminds me of the PvP slider discussion back in the old days of Star Citizen. I was fine with that because I could set the slider or whatever it was to set my amount of risk, right? In open, there's no guarantee that the bad guys are going to nail me to the wall or cheat or have some sort of, keyboard warrior system that I can't beat. But there's a chance, and I don't like that very much. That it crosses a line for me, and so I play in private group or I play in solo. So, but for the purposes of the back end of the game, the risk is the important part. The risk reward balance. So yeah, I agree with you completely, Brian. It's not the fact that you have a guarantee to run into these people, but the chance needs to exist.
John Newboy writes in, Community Question 2. Oh, am I on the right thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's just weird that he started at 2. All right. Sean Newboy writes in, Community Question 2. Always more grenades. Wonderful show, everyone. Can't wait for 500. I also can't wait to see what happens next time that we see Valis spelling? Well, it's Valis. I'm not sure the spelling either there. When are we going to see Valis again, Tony? And how is that spelled?
It's VLAS, but that's close enough. VLIS.
It is the name of the bot on the Discord, so it does pop up occasionally.
Yeah. So who can say? I have no plans to bring her back at this point. The team's been cut off. They've been burnt. They've been blacklisted. So they're on their own. But
she kind of doesn't want to see me.
Yeah.
I remember leaving on very bad terms, and I will beat her with my cyber dog.
Yeah, but you didn't crop dust. So you didn't close the door completely.
No, that got cut, right?
No,
I think I remember talking about crop dust.
That
was
was
that in the show.
Acrosi and I had a very specific discussion about timing and when we were going to have it, because I wanted to start the new adventure with 501. So we had to discuss like when the stories were going to break and how long of a segments were. And he said specifically, "There's a good stopping point here, which will leave us about 20 minutes for the final show." And I said, "Okay, what is it?" He said, "It's when Henry walks out of the office and says he's going to crop dust, but he changes his mind and doesn't." I'm like, perfect. So that's like the button on the end of that segment. So you're welcome, Henry, and thank you both for providing that. That was great. Ken from Chicago writes in and says, community question 1. Yes, solo and private modes are great for ED players, but to attract and keep new players, they should enhance the open modes. Community question 2. Is it too late for a cameo by the Fruity OD Bar Pirates? Not necessarily. Again, anything's possible. I'll go put that along with the beach episode into things that might go in the hopper. Not a bad idea.
Strife writes in, community question 1. Yes, they should make the rewards in open greater than the rewards in group or solo play. Maybe a reward multiplier should be used. I don't think open-only loot would be appropriate. And logical follow-up question would be, will incentivizing open play make me want to play in open? And to that I would say no. If I wanted to play in with overly aggressive underpants. Sorry,
I'm gonna.
That caught me off guard.
It's a good bit. Just start the sentence over again. And to that I would say.
And to that I would say no. If I wanted to play with overly aggressive underpants gnomes, I'd load up a different space game that caters to that crowd. Good point. Community question 2. I mean, isn't Tony going to do whatever he wants anyway? Yes, Stripe, he's going to do whatever he wants.
More or less, yeah. But if I know that people want more of something or less of something, I can be swayed. I can be persuaded. It's fine.
No, you can be bribed.
Well, that too. But nobody ever bribes me, though. Is that because people think I'm too honest and I won't take bribes, or just they just don't want to bribe me? They just don't like want.
I don't know. Do you like Kraft mac and cheese?
No, that's Lennon's thing. That's how you get Lennon to do stuff.
We forgot that whole bit in the whole show thing about the whole Kraft mac and cheese thing that we talked about for a couple of episodes.
Yeah. The only bribery Tony takes is, I'll work on your podcast.
Exactly.
What? You said no to me? How dare you?
Yeah, come back and do another episode. That's your punishment. Your turn, Brian.
Sorry, I am just FYI. I have like the busiest weekend in the world because my son is also doing his Eagle project, and I mentioned the other million craft projects that I'm also publicly doing.
So
I'm getting texts from him in the garage as he like saws things.
Oh, okay. If don't let him lose a finger. Those are important. So if you need to jump up and.
In theory, his mother should be actually keeping an eye on him as well. So hopefully that no emergency trip.
We're almost done.
Trips in the near future. All right.
He still needs to earn his first aid badge, right?
No,
not on himself.
He has all of his merit badges
and all of his fingers.
Eagle project, right? Like, it's his.
Yeah. Last one.
It's his dissertation for scouting, as it were. All right. Phoenix D-Fire writes in and says, for community question 1, that debate has been going for ages. As a power player myself, one of the major flaws to Power Play 1 was that if you flew in solo and private, the NPCs didn't do a good job at providing a challenge. So you had to have a massive advantage. And so you had a massive advantage if you did your power playing in solo or private. The NPCs weren't good enough to stop bots, so that skewed the results as well. In the new system, it looks like Power Play Police, PPP, will attack anyone who's not on their... Excuse me. It looks like the Power Play Police, PPP, will attack anyone who's not in their power on site, which is a vast improvement for hardcore player like myself, and mitigates some of the differences between solo, PvT, and open. However, this is putting off more casual players who, when doing CGs, Thargoid combat, or other social events, don't want to be hassled by the PPP. So much so, there's lots of players who aren't going to try Power Play version 2 without the ability to suspend their pledge to a power, do those events, and then recommit to the power with no loss to progress after those events are finished. I'm hoping FDev has taken that into account. Otherwise, I'm concerned it will be another dead feature. For community question 2, congrats at running a good campaign. The EDRPG is a good system, and I'm happy you're running it with it. The EDRPG is a good system, and I'm happy you're running with it. I think smaller adventures is a good way to go. Is a good way going forward. Maybe an adventure that could cover 8 hours. That would
just start over again. It's kind of broken up.
I think smaller adventures is a good way going forward. Maybe an adventure that would cover 8 hours before moving on to the next one. If I don't manage to get around to sending in a voicemail, congratulations to all for reaching 500. Stupendous effort. Despite Tony's understandable grumbling, this is my prime source of info about Star Citizen. Yes, most of us Lave Radio people back Star Citizen back in 2012 as well. And although I've got similar concerns as the aforementioned neck-bearded nitpicker, I am still looking forward to what they will do with it. And full respect for coming up with more than 300 some say jokes. Editor's note, technically it's only 299.5, as one of them was, some say he wrote half a joke, ... if we're nitpicking.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So, I'm just, so I'm a neck-bearded nitpicker? Really? Really? Okay, you know
Tony,
what?
that's
I thought you were talking about me.
Fine.
He's saying he's a neck-bearded nitpicker.
You didn't say. I guess he didn't specify who it was, but the only person that was aforementioned was me. So I mean, none of you guys were aforementioned. So honestly, and he did record something too. So we'll play that here at the end of feedback as well. So you'll get to hear Phoenix to Fire twice as well. Thank you for writing in. Jeff, they're from that other show that just beat us to 500 by a few episodes. You remember that? What's that called again, Jeff?
Lave?
Yeah, Lave Radio. You specifically asked for a chance to say it, and so I gave it to you. There you go.
Yeah,
you're welcome. You're welcome.
Oh, is it my turn to
it's
go?
Your turn. Yep.
I wasn't sure you guys were done picking on the pronunciation of Lave. I remember that was a long-running one, wasn't it?
It still runs today. It's still
500 episodes, and it had that dead horse hasn't been beaten enough. I say.
That's
Radio.
That's kind of our thing around here, Henry.
I love that old joke. Lave it. I love it. All right.
It's
writes,
French,
Benno writes in. Bennu writes in. Community question. Yeah, I haven't read Bennu's feedback for 25,000 episodes. Well, I guess that's not true. We're at 500.
500, yeah.
We'll say several times. I don't know where that came from, that pronunciation. Bennu, because I was mispronouncing Lave. There you go. All right, Bennu writes in. Community question 1. Good night. I got interrupted. I finally got on track. Now I've got a detour for 20 minutes to get myself squared away again. Bennu writes in. Community question 1. If it's possible to group a pro-faction player with an anti-faction player in open, then yeah, it makes sense to incentivize that playstyle. But I don't even think it works at that level. So you could easily wind up getting grouped with someone who couldn't care less about power play in open. Community question 2, well, it is the DM's prerogative to run the game how they want. Winky face emoji.
Mm-hmm.
In general feedback, which we haven't started yet, but I'm going to read it here anyway. We'll start general feedback. Here we go. In general feedback, Bennu also continues. How should we segue that? Because you want to
That's
segue
fine.
into
Just do it like that. Just say in general feedback, Bennu continues. That's fine.
And in general feedback, Bennu continues. Congrats on 500. I sincerely hope it doesn't take another 500 to get Squadron 42 release, but I'll keep an ear on the guard. that is probably the best advice you could follow there, if you're going to find out.
Keep one ear on
when it gets released there.
Yep, do that.
Absolutely.
Ken from Chicago writes in, first you say, go slow, I fall behind. The second hand unwinds. If you're lost, you can look and you will find me, time after time. If you fall, I will catch, I will be waiting, time after time. When you're lost in the black, then call for help, guard frequency. If you're lost and alone, just keep on calling, guard frequency, guard frequency. Lennon was right, at Gobi no Kitsune, which is Lennon's handle, was right, listen to Brits. So he's doing the 80s thing some more.
Now you could have put a little more tone into that.
It's been a long night. It's been a long night. I don't feel like doing William Shatner's not coming out tonight. It's just
no, I wasn't thinking of Shatner. I think you could just follow the song. Like it's a great song.
Cyndi Lauper's not coming out tonight.
Tony, come on.
Yeah. I guess I don't have.
All right, Brian. I guess you got to do it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Thanks. Thanks. You know, I thought this show turned out pretty well so far, but we're pushing 100 level limits. If you guys are gonna keep doing that, or it'll sink fast.
Where's the Verster?
We do need to bring back the Verster. We need to find an excuse to bring the Verster back. Maybe he'll show up in the RPG too. Second, it looks like there were more Star Citizen tests of server meshing going up to 1,000 players. Just like Brian said, there might be, despite one test being delayed. Or as Henry said, there's progress. If it's even if it's slower than some people would like. Yet another example of the clear-eyed vision that a Murray Pomper administration would bring to the podcast. Also, an administration that would make difficult copy for Jeff to read and forced to reread until it's read correctly. Hashtag justice for Jeff. Hashtag end Jeff's suffering. Hashtag no, not that way, a better way. Hashtag better leadership. Third, congratulations to the Guard Frequency host, guests, crew, research badgers, and audience of Guard Frequency for 500 official emoji. And he has 5 clap emojis. I'm assuming one for each 100 episodes that we have done. And then this is my gift to you all. And he has a YouTube link, which I have watched, and which many of us have watched and found hilarious.
Indeed.
Yes. Good work, Ken from Chicago.
I gotta tell you, it's funny. It showed up on my YouTube recommendations before it was done.
Really?
Even, I think. Yeah, I think he had it. It was a while ago, and I was like, "Oh, that's great."
The algorithm knows you too well, Henry. He knows you too well.
That's great.
Strife writes in MMQ RMQ, and then contemplation emoji. Was MMQ short for Microsoft Message Queuing, or maybe MMD was a in-house, not invented here message queuing system that wasn't very good? Did they switch to Rabbit MQ? Is server messaging just a message queue system? I won't necessarily put it beyond them to use a third-party system and tell the backers it's something they made in-house. After all, this has never been done before. Anyway, good work, everyone, on 499 episodes. Let's keep up with the meh work.
Yes, and I apologize, Strife. My pronunciation was probably bad. It's N as in Nancy MQ is the replacement, not M as in Michael MQ is the replacement. But yeah, they got it up to 1,000 people, as Ken from Chicago pointed out, and then it promptly fell over. So what I'm assuming that means is that before 1,000 it was running okay. They were doing fine, so they decided to ramp it up to 1,000 and it crashed. So they're still not there where they're happy with it just yet. But we just saw research mentioning the research badgers. They have put out 3.24.2 to the Evocati, and we're thinking about putting it to PTU tonight. So they're still cranking away on patches over
there. Rebel writes in and says, "Hi guys, Rebel here. I want to send out my thanks and congratulations to the entire Guard Frequency team for creating 500 entertaining episodes of mostly space game goodness, and I look forward to listening to many more. Bye. And Tony will always be wrong."
A wrongin'.
Always be a wrongin'.
A wrongin'.
Okay. Bye. And Tony's Bye. And Tony will always be a wrongin'. Congrats on 500. Editor's note.
Oh,
See
just
voice note.
just leave that. Yeah, I'll
Okay.
introduce those. I'll introduce that.
It's like he read exit stage left. I don't know. I thought that was funny when he did
Well,
it.
the editor's note above I had to read.
Yeah,
Now
that
I
one you had to
don't the
read.
editor's note?
It's a game time decision on me. It's a game time decision on me. It's fine. You did fine.
Amontillado writes in, "Hey gang, did I say gang?
Gang. Hi, gang.
Dying.
Amontillado writes in. I'm not trying not to say Amontillado. Amontillado writes in, "Hey gang, Tony, don't tell me to rush. It's our 500th episode. Maybe I want to savor it."
No.
Oh, that's right. You got to go. Amontillado writes in, "Hey gang, congratulations on 500 episodes. Can we get to 1,000? Going back a bit, why do folks still support Star Citizen? I do because I believe that the intent is still there, the effort is real, and success is possible. If it were easy, it would have been done already, even if it was never fully realized. The entertainment..."
Hang on, there's a sentence break there.
Yep. Can I just pick it up at even if?
No, go back to
okay. If it were easy, it would have been done already. Even if it is never fully realized, the entertainment value that... Sorry. Even if it is never realized, the entertainment that I continue to receive from my involvement with Star Citizen is worth the price tag. Cheers, Monty. And let me tell you something, and I'm just going to be very quick. Montiado was the only caller in the worst show I remember doing. It was the scariest show ever. I got stuck with Osteron, and I don't mean stuck with him. It was just the two of us. So we were stuck together. And I think CitizenCon was going on, so we had no listeners, and some dummy scheduled a call-in show for that day, and Amontillado carried us. He thought he was going to call in for a minute, and we wouldn't let him go. And it was so awesome. It was so great. It was just the worst scheduling ever, but thank you, sir, for all you did to serve the podcast and the podcast community that night.
I think so. We brought Ostron in because of the timing order. We brought Ostron into the main chat before you in the previous segment, and I think he pointed out that exact same episode as like the worst show ever. I think he pointed out at the exact same episodes, like he hated that show, like that one. And then we said, no, don't worry, episode 100, where Shiv and First Verse Problems took over and did the whole thing. That was the worst episode ever. So don't worry about it, Henry. That wasn't the worst one. It'll always be 100. And finally, we did receive some verbal congratulations from a few sources that we're going to play now, and including a major reveal. Longtime listeners will remember the mysterious clown Bobo and his retinue of Bobo alter egos, and finally the identity of this person shall be revealed. So listen closely.
Don't buy it. Don't buy it.
Before we do that, can we take a guess at who it is? Each one of us, one quick guess.
We can as we export this. So go ahead and do that. So stop there, and then you guys can make your guesses.
Because none of us know yet. So let's take an honest swing at it. If it's not Tony,
it's not me. So yeah.
Oh, so what is the folder called? Episode what?
It should be 500. There's no raw folder.
I don't know.
No, I didn't know the
Tony's mysterious clues. I'll guess Lennon.
Okay. All right.
I think Elio.
You think Elio? Okay.
I think Elio keeps up with Star Citizen enough to.
No,
that's a good one. No, so you know what?
Bobo
I only
knows
think
what's
that
going on
because
with-
I think he would check in but not want to talk about it publicly because he doesn't want to get into Star Citizen stuff. Okay, go ahead, Jeff.
I also thought it was Lennon. If it wasn't Tony, it was Lennon.
Lennon is such a better guess. I gotta side with you guys. As soon as you said it, I was like, I'll bet that's him because that's the kind of name he'd pick too.
See,
those Brits would pick a name like Clown Bobo.
The thing is that I love the fact that you're going with it. It's completely the wrong direction. It's completely I want you guys to. It's not anyone in our close circle. It is not anyone in our close circle.
All right.
You got to go. Number one, you got to go way back in time, And number 2, you got to broaden that circle way out. And
his name's Tyler Durden, and Tony met him on an airplane.
Nope. Again, it's a deep cut. It is a deep cut. So I don't. So you might hear the name and go, "Oh yeah." It's a deep cut. That's all. That's the only other clue I'm going to give you. Yeah. Anyway. And I'm trying to do community questions. Our first one's: are we going to make it to 1,000 episodes?
Do they still listen to us? I mean, are they still participating in
no
our
more clues?
Or whatever?
No more clues. No more clues. That's the last one. Because this is only the speculation will be over on Tuesday, right? So we're not going to make a big thing of this anymore. But I've given you all of the hints I'm going to give you. We're going to make it to 1,000 episodes, and what else should we talk about here?
Okay, I'll ask for one more clue.
No, I already said no. I already said no more clues.
I'm with Jeff. We vote. There should be another clue.
You're still under the impression this is some sort of like democratic operation. This like no, no, you don't get any more clues. No.
Are they now, or have they been an employee of?
I'm not answering any more questions. I'm not answering. I'm not compelled. I cannot be compelled to answer any of your questions. I'm not under subpoena. I'm not under oath. You cannot compel me to answer any more of your questions.
Damn lawyers.
I know. I need another community question. We're gonna make it to 1,000 episodes, and just what was your favorite memory?
Yeah, because it is the reminiscing 500. These are great community questions for that episode.
I think one of the coolest thing is, since he's typing what's our favorite memories, I'm going to say it, the radio drama was so much fun.
For episode 400.
That was so much fun.
Oh, that one sketch in episode 400. Yeah, that was God. 300 and 400 really was our best work. I think I like 300 just a little bit more because it was so completely off the wall zany. Like it was total improv. But I like 400 too because we did the opposite, right? We scripted it all, and I think that worked out pretty well too. But I like 300 just a little bit more because of the complete off the wallness of it.
What I remember from that one is Witherspoon training crabs.
Oh my God.
That's what sticks out from that episode is him training crabs. And I love crabs. God. I live by the Chesapeake, and I'm sitting here picturing dude training crabs. And it was fantastic, like imagery. Like he did a great job.
I laughed. I laughed at us laughing at episode 300 because I went back and did research on the show to try to figure out when people came on and when they started working with the show, and so I had to go back into our Discord logs and all kind of stuff to see when people started posting. And I just ran into this chunk of a thread where we were talking about episode 300, and everyone was like, "That was my favorite part." No, that was my favorite part. Like, I never got over this joke. I replayed that bit 5 times. I mean, everyone was just for the next week, people were on our show were laughing at episode 300. That was really good. Okay, I think I've got it here.
Before we go, I'd like to say before you drummed up all the mystery around Clown Bobo and everything like that, I had always just assumed it was Bucha, but
no,
I guess we'll find out. Oh, it's not. You're going to explicitly say it's
I'm going to tell you it's not. So and no more clues. And also I need to wrap up quick because I got to go grab Mrs.
Okay, all right, let's do it.
So let's get on the big red button and hit it in 3, 2. This is Tony closing sync 1.
This is Jeff closing sync 2.
This is Ken Shadow closing sync 3.
This is Henry closing sync 4.
All right, here we go. Closing in 3, 2. And this week's community questions. Are we going to make it to 1,000 episodes? And what was your favorite guard frequency memory from the last 500 shows? And otherwise, how was this show? Are we simply the best? Do you hang on every word we say? We welcome your comments over at guardfrequency.com and discord.guardfrequency.com. You can also hit us up on Twitter at GuardFreak. Your feedback's an important part of what we do, so let us know what's on your mind.
Our numbers.
If you like what you hear, you can... beep, beep. If you like what you hear, you can also reach us on Twitter at GuardFreak.
No, next one. I'm one.
Oh. That's right. If you like what you hear, you can also subscribe to our shows at guardfrequency.com or by searching for us on iTunes.
I guess I'll be 3.
Yes.
And if you're not doing anything on Friday nights, then you should come join us at 8 o'clock p.m. Central as we record Guard Frequency live over at twitch.tv/GuardFreak. Please note the new time.
Do you like what we do? Want to help us make the best damn space game podcast ever? You can always support the show by visiting our website, clicking on the Patreon logo, and becoming a regular subscriber.
We want to thank all our Patreons who support us week on week. We hope you consider joining them because the more support we get, the better show we can make.
And money's great, but don't forget to spread the word about us to your wingmates.
And that brings us and that brings us to the end of episode 500 of Guard Frequency. We'll be back with episode 501 We'll be back with episode 5. Let me say it again. We'll be back with episode 501 on October 11th, 2024. So be sure to keep an ear out for our shows over at guardfrequency.com.
We'd like to thank the entire team at Guard Frequency and the Priority One Network. Thanks to our community manager, Justin Chivalry Bean Lowmaster, our senior art director, Ben Wingamanga Sanders, and of course our audio architects, Mikey, Bill Hardy, Acrosi, Strife, and Wotherspoon.
Thanks to our syndication partner of the base, and a special thanks to Ronald Jenkins for his permission to use his music in our show. Visit ronaldjenkins.com for more of his work. But above all, we especially want to thank you folks for tuning in. If no one's listening out there, the deep black gets pretty lonely. And scene. That's a wrap on 500 episodes of this show. Thanks, everybody.
Hey, did you get Wotherspoon's recording?
Yep, it's already done.
Oh.
Yeah,
I was hoping he'd be on the show.
Oh, it's like 4 o'clock in the morning there right now.
Get Wotherspoons.
I know.
Got Wotherspoons. But that's...
Yeah. Wotherspoon.
Yes, I know that, but whole joke thing,
Brian
though.
said Wotherspoon. Yeah. I know. I recorded him and Beetlejude together yesterday in the afternoon so they could, go to sleep at a decent time. So, all right. I got to go grab
I know you gotta
Mrs.
go,
Hunter.
bud.
So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thanks for everybody for showing up and contributing to this. Hope you had a good time and hope you stick around for a few hundred more episodes, however many more that is. So good night, everybody.
Night, everybody.
Good night.